Episode 27. I Boozy, myself Thomas, himself Johs, KittyDevereux. We're here with the disclaimer now. So this podcast is solely for entertainment purposes. We do not advocate the overconsumption or abuse of alcohol, and we certainly do not promote binge drinking. All guests have the choice whether they wish to consume alcohol or not, and it is their responsibility to drink responsibly, not ours. With that being said, how's everyone? Everyone got a drink that wants to have a drink?
I've got a drink. I'm drinking Brewdog Wingman today. My drink of choice. Session
nice. I'm drinking.
I'm repping my first drink of the year.
God, it's an honour. It's an honour. What are you drinking, Thomas?
Thatcher's Gold.
Yeah, mate, what is it with you with the cider? Mate, you're on like your cider arc.
Yeah, it's almost beer garden weather. It's getting there. It was nice today, to be fair, weather. But we're not going to start the cast talking about the weather. We're going to start by talking about you, Kitty. So, yeah, first of all, like, how's it going? How have things been in general in your sort of day-to-day? Been good?
Yeah, not too bad. I think, I think life post-pandemic has been a wild roller coaster, but things are kind of settling down, and I don't know, life's kind of getting to the exciting stage again. I think it's nice to see how the world's kind of adapted and changed, and all these new different social dynamics and digital constructs and people online, but also it then overspilling into now IRL events for Pogo, and all of these people that are finally getting to meet and hang out is really, really cool. So yeah, life is pretty exciting right now.
Life is good, man. Life is good, yeah. Well, so obviously, we all, we've all seen the streams, and your streams pop off like big time. I think in terms of like the Pogo community, like you are up there with like one of the biggest like names, like for sure. So like, well, first thing on the list we obviously want to talk about is how you got into streaming. What kind of kickstarted it all. Have you always been a gamer? You always been into that kind of thing, or is it something you picked up maybe like during the pandemic and thought I'll just give it a go?
Yeah, for me, I've always been a gamer. Like day dot, I've always been some kind of gamer. But for me, it stemmed from the pandemic completely. It was a response to basically being depressed about not being able to work during the pandemic. I went from doing the fire stuff to immediately just losing 2 years worth of bookings overnight, and my life just kind of went, oh. So I kind of just got a bit depressed, got in my sweatpants and decided to play some games. And it wasn't until I kind of got poked by some friends and family, and they were like, yo, why don't you just put some makeup on and turn the camera on, and while you're doing that, like, try this Twitch thing out. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But at the same time, I was lonely, dude. I was really, really lonely during the pandemic. I due to like physical health, I had to isolate, and I couldn't see anybody. I couldn't go out. It was a solid year and a half before I could actually leave the house. I think I would left maybe like 5 times for different hospital appointments, but other than that, it was complete isolation. And Twitch streaming was my world for a really long time. Yeah, so that's the only reason I started streaming.
Yeah, and you've managed to turn that into a full-time job now, right?
Yeah, it's insane.
That is so really like.
Round of applause, chat. Round of applause.
Man.
Big up people making the transitions from 9 to 5s to these sorts of careers, because I say we're all in a sort of era, and obviously you guys are all here in chat. You use Twitch, so you understand it a bit more, but then maybe like your parents, when you try and explain to them, oh yeah, no, I'm a full-time streamer now. Have you had that conversation with like your family at all, or anything? Like, what's their sort of, are they supportive of it, or are they like a bit more traditional? It's like you need to go out, get a bus, and everything.
I think at first my mum was she just didn't understand. She was just like, they're watching you play games, well, why don't they just play games? I'm like, but they are, but we're playing games together. And but I don't understand, why would they, but how do you get money from people watching you play games? I just don't get it. And I was like, well, it's like an entertainment platform. Like, you go watch a band, you pay for a ticket. You go watch a comedian, you pay for a ticket. It's kind of like a tip for your entertainment. So I tried to explain that way, and she just didn't get it. But I think she was just happy that during the pandemic I'd gone from honestly probably the lowest point for me to I'd gone from like slouching around in sweatpants to feeling like, oh, let's get up, let's get ready for the day, let's plan, let's like, how can I make this a thing? And started thinking about how I could maybe integrate like the fire stuff in the future with IRL touring for the 5 shows and taking the Pogo work with it, doing Pogo in different cities and bringing chat with me. and trying to fuse the two and keeping the two careers going, because it would be such a niche. So I think she was excited about that. But then I think it wasn't until I really hit partner and then started being able to pay some bills with it that she was like, oh, like this is a thing. And then showing her little clips from chat where chat would be like, hello Kitty's mum, and you'd have all these like messages, and she was like, oh, they're all people that are there now. And I'm like, yes mum, they're there now. Like so that was quite cool. So she gets it now, but she doesn't understand it. I don't think she will ever fully understand, but
that's
fully backs
that's
it now,
still
I think.
such a W though. The fact that you're at least able to like sort of explain it. She won't get it, and that's absolutely fine. Like it's not necessarily for her to get. It's just like you just have to not even reassure her. You just say to her like, listen, mum, I've got this. Like this is the bag I'm getting now. It's not traditional. It's not maybe what you had an experience when you were growing up, but yeah, it pays the bills, and I think that's the kicker really. Like you say, obviously they want your parents, they want the best for you, they want you to have fun and enjoy it, and then when you say, oh, this is like a career, it's just like, oh, okay. Like when I explained to my dad, not that like this is like kind of off topic, but when I explained to my dad why I go to like Pokemon events and stuff, I'm like, yeah, Dad, I'm like, we meet and like we just like we drink and stuff, and he was like, oh, you get the beers in, nice. That sounds nice, son.
Yeah.
He's like, does that proper dad thing. He's like, I'm proud of you, son. I'm like, what? There's nothing to be proud of, but no, that's a big W.
I did the exact same with my mum. It was when I went to Berlin for GoFest. She was like, why are you going there to play a game?
Yeah,
and I was like,
they don't get it.
I was like, so like in my group for Berlin, I think there was 55 of us that had all like booked into the same like 2 hotels and whatnot.
Sheesh.
And then when I said that, and she was like, oh, what? So you're not just going on your own? I was like, no, I'm not just going on my own.
Yeah, for some reason, I think, oh yeah, we're little going to like some convention, like, hi, yeah, like, fucking no, we're going there, we're getting litty. Like,
yeah,
you
exactly.
mad?
No, we love that. Yes, because you do quite a variety of streams, right? So you do.
I do these days, yeah.
Pokemon,
I can say it started off.
RuneScape.
Yeah, Pokemon, RuneScape, just a whole bunch of stuff, but those two mainly at the moment. But it kind of started off completely variety, then went just Pokemon for quite a long time, until the sort of the game changed a little bit, and I feel like I just adapted to make the content that I felt like, I don't know, the community was supporting me and making content that I felt like I'd enjoy, and they were there for the community, not just for the game, which was like a huge turning point for me, I think. That I could create content that I enjoyed myself and that people would just come to hang out, and I didn't feel like I was sort of having to do certain things to get certain views or anything like that. It's just pure enjoyment, and that's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, obviously we've seen a few streams, and like you can kind of tell that like the viewership and community that you've built would kind of watch you play anything and like get involved to support you. Obviously, I know today you started your new sponsorship with the Monopoly game, right?
I did.
Yeah, and then I saw everyone was downloading it and supporting you, and I like, to me, like that's so cool. Like to have,
it's really cool.
Yeah,
so
like, to have a community like that who will like support you endlessly, regardless of what you do, is like it's such a hard thing to build on Twitch. Where I would say Twitch is like oversaturated now with creators that are trying to build, so it's harder to break through into that kind of community sort of level.
It's true, but I feel like it's harder to break through. But a lot of people, like, I feel like we might have said this on a previous episode. So I'm trying to think back to what we said, but it was something along the lines of some people just aren't like, they expect to just sort of just be there for them. Like, some of your favorite like YouTubers, streamers, content creators, like have probably spent and probably still spend like years and years trying to get to where they think they need to be, and they might never get there. And sometimes that's okay, because sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I knew that I was gonna get you. I knew that I would get you.
Like, cause somehow I knew you were going to say that. I don't remember the context of the conversation we had, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" I was like, "Fucking the journey." I was like,
"No, it was to do with it was to do with the most recent reaction video on the channel where we said, where basically for you guys that haven't seen it, we reacted to Will and E going on the world's most luxurious train to Machu Picchu, and at the end of the video, spoilers, the end of the video, they weren't even allowed in. They weren't even allowed in. They had to sit in a little pub over the road with the sort of their guide that they came with, just having a fucking beer. And I said to Josh, I'm like, listen, the journey, man. And Josh was like, no, absolutely not. If I want to see a wonder of the world, and he was going fucking mental.
You're right as well. I'm fucking right. But
Carl Pilkington style.
Yeah.
No, it was fucking jokes. Yeah. So sorry. So you said you've always been a gamer. Like, what's like the game that started it for you?
God, probably. I remember vividly playing a lots of probably games I shouldn't have been able to play that were maybe not completely above board. Like maybe I shouldn't have had like having a chipped PS1 and things like that. But a lot of like the usual basics like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Pandemonium, Tony Hawk's, lots of racing games. That was just me. Like.
Is he gone again, chat? I'm not sure if it's me or
him. He's back.
No,
he's back.
No, I'm here.
He's back. Josh buffering IRL.
Yeah, I am buffering. No. So because I'm really excited. So I feel like all the guests that we've had so far, they've only really been like Pogo players.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have someone like
someone with Pogo player with layers. So it's like there's more. There's like the RuneScape, which sometimes like, I look on Discord and I'm awake at stupid o'clock and I see little green.
Don't help me.
It's just RuneScaping to the fucking
DJing hours.
Hey, we love DJing hours. Big up the DJs. But no, in all seriousness though, there's
lots of hours.
Where did the Monopoly Go sponsorship come from?
Monopoly. They contacted me. Yeah, it was just really random. I think I've been quite lucky a few times in the past. I think. Having the dynamic of being quite picky about the sponsors I do take, like I've had offers that I just won't take because I don't think it's right. And I think, like you said, I'm really lucky with the fact that the community will support, but I make it my responsibility to make sure they're only things that I would enjoy playing, that I don't think it's something that I would disagree with morally, that I think it'd be fun, because nobody wants to do something someone else that's not going to be fun. Like I try and make sure it's going to be at least fun or a bit silly or something we can do together, something that we can make an alliance in together. There's a sponsor that we got nearly 2 years ago now that we still play every single day as a community and have done since we did, and we've met every single week for a social hangout in VC since we took that sponsorship 2 years ago, and that stemmed from there. And the same company that makes that game also make Monopoly Go.
Okay.
And I think we did such a good job of that sponsorship that sometimes maybe they keep names on record for future opportunities, and that could maybe will be how this agent found me. And having like a community built on mobile gaming predominantly with Pokemon Go and games like Kingdom Maker and obviously Monopoly Go is quite beneficial for when they do seek people out, that you know that not only can you get people, but you can retain the people that do then sign up to play the game. And it's not just there for the quick download and then they'll never play it again. Some people will, some people won't. But I think, I was quite lucky with making sure I'm picking campaigns I don't think are just for money grabs or I think we can actually have some fun with, basically.
That sounds good.
See, so this does like go on to one point that I actually really did want to talk about. So one thing we tend to do when we have guests on, we try and like look through like socials and pick out things to talk about. So you were a partner for G Fuel, right?
I was.
There was a period of my life where
there was a period of his life. Wait, I can't.
But it's just me.
Yeah, no, it was a period of his life where.
Period of his life where.
Yeah, he was spitting.
No, sorry, I don't know what my connection is in that. But yes, for like a year and a half, it was all I drank was G Fuel. So when I saw that you were partnered with G Fuel, I was like, shit. I was like, that's fucking cool. So like, yeah, because obviously G Fuel now are like fucking massive. They're huge. So like how did a partnership like that come along? And like how was it? Like to work
it was just a really weird interaction actually. But I was. This is such a weird story because I don't think I've ever told this story before, but I was actually hanging out in Matt from Trivium's stream and we were bonding over mutual friends because I'd performed at Bloodstock and Download, and we were talking about that, and his sponsor, well, at the time he was sponsored by G Fuel, and his partnership manager happened to be in chat, and I think directed the partnership manager to me and said, like, you need to check out this gal, and that's how I ended up getting sponsored by G Fuel. And so that was pretty cool. And we've parted ways now. That was a choice on my part, but it was I enjoyed my time there. I feel like It was good. I enjoy the brand. It was tasty. I think there was maybe some things I morally didn't agree with towards the end, and so I just partied when I felt like it was right for me, I think.
Yeah, to be fair, so that was one thing that I found was the time where you did that was the same sort of time that a lot of other people did the same and split. Yeah, I kind of realized that like having so much caffeine in my life was like not great.
What do you feel exactly? Is it just like energy sort of like mix?
Yeah,
or is it like
they have they have a hydration line, and that was where my main thing was, because I've got a health condition called POTS, and part of that is I need to drink extra like say sports drinks with things that keep me hydrated with like all the different bits of potassium and things like that, and electrolytes and all that jazz. So having the hydration line was one of the reasons I went with them, because I like energy drinks, I like getting, you know, a little bit hyper or whatever, but I also really liked the hydration line and it tasted good. So that was one of my main reasons, because I liked both, and for the people that don't drink energy, I didn't want to necessarily push that on them. I was able to then say, well, here's the same flavor and equivalent that doesn't have any caffeine, so that felt pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool. So like in my kitchen, and I wish I was joking, I have one cupboard that is just stacked with like, I think I have like 20 different shakers, and I still have like...
I've probably still got 1 million in here, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Like the only way I can just tell us, so if you don't know, like they do loads of like different colored shakers and branded ones, and the way I would describe it, the way I used to collect them was like, you know, Funko Pops. Yeah. That was like me with G Fuel shakers. New one came out, like I'm like, I fucking need it. Fucking get me on it.
How much are these shakers like setting you back?
Like maybe like what, 7-8 quid a time, something like that.
I've spent more on this. Yeah, fair enough.
Exactly. Yeah. So that, so seeing that, I was like, shit, that's really cool. Like I said, like there was many nights when I was game that G Fuel was like the only thing that was going into my body for like 48 hours on these mad gaming sessions. So yeah, that was really cool, especially to see. So yeah, we love that. Yeah, let's talk about the fire dancing, because that is like fucking random. Like that is, it's like so what. Whenever I think about that, I just think about like back when you were in school and the teacher would say to you, "Oh, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up?" You know what I mean? I feel like that would never be on anyone.
I want to set myself on fire.
Yeah, she just says, if it's on a film, she just says, "I want to be a fire dancer." And then it goes to a clip her in a few years' time, just fucking fire bending, like fucking doing all this shit. Mental.
So how the fuck did that come about? And like, how the hell do you make a career out of that?
It was really random. I think when I was at uni, on nights out, I would see like the random bars. You'd see just a little bit of fire breathing or whatever in like the alternative bars or whatever on nightclubs. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then one day I saw somebody do it with a fire staff, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And as a kid, I was a majorette, but kind of left when I become not a tomboy, but a little bit less girly, and I was a bit more insecure. I didn't want to wear the little skirt, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore, Mum. I've changed my mind. But I thought, hang on a minute, what if I can use my like baton twirling skills with the fire skills and do that? So I started doing it as a bit of a hobby at first, and then as I got better at it and then started branching out, it was mostly just a hobby. And then I went after uni to go work in a secure forensic psych hospital, and that got pretty intense, pretty heavy. So I was doing more of the fire stuff in my spare time.
Like such a left, like
fire
crazy,
and then like psyche, and
but the money with the fire stuff just got so insane, and then reputation got going, and then when you mix in things like Facebook and social media and people seeing photos, it kind of sells itself. Like people go, I want that picture that you've got there, or that video, I want that at my wedding or my festival or on this film or this TV program. So it kind of sold itself. And then I was quite lucky again with the reputation and put in all of my effort in when I thought, hang on a minute, like I'm making money here and I'm enjoying this, and I can have my own work days. I can choose where I work or when I go. And as soon as I started getting bookings for like big festivals like Download Festival and Bloodstock, I was like, right, it's time to do this full time. This is cool. And that was like a real pivotal moment of just kind of going, let's take the risk, let's take the gamble, let's get rid of the 9-to-5 job. But it was never 9 to 5. It was like 7 p.m. till 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. 5 days a week. Like, it was really long hours in the psych hospital. So this was like a really pleasant change. But yeah, the fire stuff just kind of grew. And I've never been able to explain it to anybody. So trying to explain Twitch is less weird than trying to explain that you set yourself on fire for a living and people pay you for it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so also I'm gonna ask that really like generic question. Like, how many times have you like injured yourself doing it, like learning it?
I'd say probably maybe only once or twice, and I think anyone that's performed for a long time will have had like near misses and things like that. I've been really lucky. I've never really hurt myself badly. There's been a couple of times where to keep straight stage presence and keep a moment and not give away. Like there was a show that I was doing with another girl where she left mid routine and she was supposed to go off the stage, swap her props and come back on, and she didn't. So I was kind of left waiting for her to come back and realized that she wasn't going to. So I was held in the same position for a tiny bit longer than I would have liked, and like the heat damage on my sort of singed my finger a little bit with my fire fans. But I had to keep playing. I had to keep performing. So then I was there all weekend. It was at a tattoo convention, so I had another day to go after that. So that was pretty rough. But there's been times where I think the only injuries have been from multiple shows back to back, where it's just like blisters and things like that from repetitive. There's a lots of periods of the year where it's a little bit busier than others, where I'll have like a bit of a gap at the start of the year and a bit of a gap just after Easter. Summer then pops off, then have a tiny bit of a break. And then when it gets to Halloween, it was just insane. You'd have all of the Halloween bookings that then went on to bonfire night bookings. And then you start getting all the Christmas bookings for Christmas, like town openings for their Christmas events and things like that. Then New Year's. So it was like a whole solid sort of month and a half of
It's crazy how many occasions you can have like fire dancing for. It's like what you just described there. You go from you could be from Halloween solid until New Year's, just like fucking. When's the sort of downtime for that? Like in terms of not even just like
cold.
That's what I'm saying. Not just you time, but in terms of like what they like patch you up or anything. If there's any like serious burns, I'm thinking, look, I understand that the show must go on, and this chick's bailed on you when you're trying to. But I'm like, listen, if things go left, are there donnies like fire donnies with fucking extinguishers like ready to put you out, or is it like are you all?
So I always have like a safety hand. I have a fire safety hand. And I was quite lucky, like, to have people that were safety trained, and then the bigger events they have their own people. And insurance was covered for a nice 10 mil sum, so I was pretty covered. I was all right. But yeah,
I don't really bad. I'm trying to not laugh because I can imagine, because if I was doing that and I burned myself, I'd just do the full like
stop flapping.
The fucking Peter Griffin. No, it's not doing the Peter Griffin.
With the knee,
like, that's literally just what I'd be doing, like holding my hands,
I think the adrenaline's a big part as well, though, because sometimes you don't quite realize that maybe it's a little bit too intense until it's like a lot later on. You're like, oh, that was hot, like really like, ooh. But yeah, with the downtime, I think for me, I kind of got into the habit over like the 2 or 3 years I was doing it for full time, realizing that if I worked really, really hard from October through to the start of January, I could have 3 months off. I could do whatever I wanted for 3 months and not work. And I've already
hard.
Yes.
And that was it. So are you still doing it now, or have you like put it on hold?
So yeah, something that I moved maybe like about a year or so ago, and wasn't really in a position to start training again, but now I'm starting to get in a position where I can start training again. The weather's getting a little bit better. I've got space to train. I did take one booking the Christmas before last, just to get myself back in there, and it was like a previous client that had come and said, look, we're doing our Christmas opening, will you come do it for us? And that was really cool to do the first event after lockdown and go back and be like, okay, I've still got it, I'm still good, we can still do this. That was cool. And I definitely think I'll get back to it, and I do think that hopefully in summer I'll be able to start fusing the two and have this niche and like, I don't know, just hopefully bring everything that's in my mind to fruition and make this cool, I don't know, lifestyle vlog, IRL, Pokemon playing, meeting new people, going to shows, maybe recording behind the scenes at festivals and showing Twitch of this is what I get up to, and kind of just taking people on the road with me. It would be nice to share the things that they've never been able to see before, because they just see a video of fire or they see a behind the scenes photo. They never get to see what happens when you're preparing for the show, all of the nervousness or what sideshow looks like or who you sort of meet or who you're hanging out with. Like, it's pretty cool.
That reminds us, we were supposed to do that for the pod. We were supposed to do how we set up for the pod, but we both fucking forgot it. Why are you laughing? It's true, we both fucking forgot.
No, cause it's funny, isn't it?
What?
It's funny to hear like those kind of plans. me and Thomas are fucking useless.
We're fucking not. What do you mean?
We're fucking useless. So we were supposed to do a TikTok today for for getting ready to cast, and we both were just like, shit, completely forgot. Like, we're just like fucking useless.
Man, I went back and I've literally done like my battlefront. I went to bed. I slept for like an hour and a half and woke up. I'm like, yeah, I'm charged up now. That was me getting ready. It would have just been like, I don't know, I could have gone live and it just wouldn't one of them like just sleeping videos to see me on the side, like, yeah, subbing for me to wake up or I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that is cool. It does just make me laugh because me and Thomas are like just not creative. Like,
we are creative. I'm
like,
creative.
No, it's not. Mate, we had to bash like our two brain cells together to come up with "I Booze You" as a podcast name, and that was the best thing that we.
Yeah,
could do.
we're autistically artistic. That's a thing.
Yeah. Is that a thing?
It is now. I've made it a thing.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness though, like in terms of the fire dancing and stuff, do you feel like obviously lockdown had a big like part to play on that? Like, do you feel like if there was no like COVID or lockdown, you would have like kept at it, or do you feel like I don't know? Like, what are your thoughts on it really?
I think it was a big shock to me because I think I'd started to reach my peak of like putting in. I think it took me like 2-3 years of after taking the risk to take away the stability of the full-time job to go into do that full-time. Finally got up a current like a roster of regular people that book for like club nights or events and repeat bookings, plus then new people. I just got so many new people booked in for weddings and things. The last thing I worked on was some like extra work for film and TV as well, and that kind of went out the window. And I'd finally got my calendar booked. I'd worked on like the new Batman film. Literally the month lockdown shut down, and everything was just
the one with Robert Pattinson.
Just stopped. Yes, yeah.
Damn.
It was just such a weird, surreal thing to be like, everything's all come together. This is great. To literally overnight, like, nope, no more, all gone. But I think I'd still be doing it.
I fucking knew he was gonna start singing. I knew he was gonna start singing the song as soon as he asked about Robert Pattinson. I knew the fucking song was coming somewhere. I fucking knew it. It's the only song from fucking Nirvana this guy knows, and he only likes it because it sounds like there's something in his ass.
No,
right? That's the only reason why he fucking likes it.
It was in the Batman.
He knows, yeah, I know. But as soon as you mentioned Robert Pattinson, I was like, he's gonna fucking start singing it. I know he is. I fucking knew it. Fuck's sake, man. That's fucking ridiculous, Thomas, man. Look, and he's laughing because he knows that I knew what was going to happen then. Fuck's sake. But sorry, bring it back. So have you got any like standout gigs from that like were like you were like, yeah, this is peak, like this is up there?
I think it's gotta be festival season. There was that one year I did the Bloodstock and the Download together. That was my peak of like, when I grow up, I want to be up there. I want to do that. And like getting to do that was just insane to me. Like 50,000 people watching you do something that you've worked hard at and then looking like they're enjoying them. It's just like, I don't think there's any other feeling that could compare, honestly.
What was your stage name?
Yeah.
Like, is your stage name what your sort of like Twitch handle?
I don't have stage
it's exactly the same.
Same name?
Yeah, that's same name.
No, fair.
Yeah.
That's how it got.
So without getting into like specifics, are we talking like how can I say this? You were like securing the bag.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, are we talking like big securing the bag, or?
If it depends on the type of booking, because for big shows you can charge anything you want. I was making more in 10 minutes for doing a 10-minute show than I was making for 3-4 days working and a normal job 12 hours a day. Yeah, like just for showing up 10 minutes. But then people see that 10 minutes and think, oh, that's 10 minutes, that's crazy, that's so much money. But then they don't think you're risking your life, you're risking your hair, you're risking inhaling paraffin and dying. You're risking the hours training, the pain, the traveling, commuting, risking not having that stable job. So it's like, it was a risk, but working hard and paying off. When you had the bookings all in, God, the money was good. The money was good. Yeah.
And then on the flip side, what was like the worst gig that you've done? Like the standout worst, where you were like, "Fuck me, that was really fucking bad."
I think there was a wedding I did once where it's almost like, some people have more money than sense. They paid for something, they got exactly what they asked for, but it's like almost they just didn't care. It was just like a side thought. They were just like, nah, you can just get up there if you want, whatever. And it was almost like you could have just not been there and it wouldn't notice.
It's just something that they felt like they wanted to have because, like you said, they had the money.
Just so they can put it on the and it is
spend it, run it up, yeah. Oh, she's gone. I don't know if that's for me or for.
To someone.
Oh, sorry.
Someone's. You're back. Getting invited to somebody's party they're throwing for their husband's 50th or something, and then basically then gone, oh yeah, when you're finished, come over, grab yourself a drink, stay for dinner, and you're like, okay.
So
that's
how
a little bit.
How long is a set? So in that instance, if you can remember, how long are you actually performing for?
Sometimes it's only 10 minutes for a couple of songs. Sometimes they want ambient fire for say a big work event. You're outside a nice manor or a hall for a work event. They want you outside while people are arriving for half an hour, just doing some freestyle fire, some fire breathing. They might have a theme.
You are literally a Charmander. That's crazy. You're just fucking...
No, Alola Marowak. That's the joke.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I've got to have that cosplaying coming. That's on my bucket list of things to do because double staff is my go-to, and I've got a nice contact staff. So to be able to do a cosplay and incorporate the fire and doing the cosplay and maybe stream it or do some photos for it for content would just be merging everything.
Big up,
Look at him. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Even down to, because you can get a flame dye that can change the color to flame, change the color of flames and things. So being able to do that, you can really, it'd be really fun.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, that is fucking sick, to be fair. Yeah, I definitely could do it. I'm not athletic.
I'd be scared of the fire.
I'm not at the moment. I think I need to get back in the back training, honestly.
Yeah, Thomas, could you just imagine us two fucking overweight men fucking trying to dance around?
Mate, I get excited. I don't smoke, so I don't smoke. So when I have a lighter, I feel like I should have it. 9 times out of 10, I have the lighter either to light birthday cake candles and whatnot, or I don't know. I don't ask you why I've got a lighter. When people ask you got a lighter, do you smoke? I'm like, no, I don't smoke. But basically, when I was a kid, it was literally, I thought I was firebending when you get the deodorant and the lighter and you go.
Yes.
That's where I peaked. that was me in terms of skill level on the old fire dancing scene. I was making a name for myself with the Lynx Africa and the fucking and the lighter. Who were doing bits.
That's your stage name, is it? Lynx Africa.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. Right. Let's move on because I'm trying to not laugh because all I could just think about is burning myself, which is going. It's all I can think in my head. It's all I have in my head.
I'm gonna have to make a TikTok and send it to you. Do some body burning.
Yeah, or like POV, POV after a thing, and then you're just there what people don't see.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think that'd be so fucking funny. But so just before I cut out, you said about how sometimes when you do certain things, the people be like, come over and join us and stuff. Were you not that's kind of weird?
Yeah, sometimes it was a little bit I think they weren't quite understanding mid-set. Say if they booked you for maybe to do 2 or 3 sets, and after the first set they come over and oh, don't forget you can go grab yourself some wine or a beer, and I'm like, I'm working with fire. I'm probably not going to go drink some alcohol right now. I'd probably void my insurance. This is a terrible idea. And you'll be fine. My favorite, you have the one-liners that happen at every single community show. Is can I have a go? Yes. Let me just pause this to you there.
Yeah, you can.
The kid favorite is is that real fire? And then the dad one is the let me get some marshmallows. It's just the bingo list of the things that everybody says at these different shows. But I always used to have the little story that I would tell the kids. I was already really worried that to go home and start setting fire to things and be like, that girl did it, the one you took us to, yeah, she does it, I can do it too. So I made up this story that I went to dragon school and had to be trained for many
hell.
years.
Man
and the
was
parents
there
look
with-
at me going,
man was
thank
there
you,
with
thank you.
Man was there with Kung Fu Panda, Dragon Warrior, fucking.
Yeah, I trained
fucking
many
bits.
years for Dragon School.
In the
Yes, I'm
dojo.
indestructible. I cannot be burned. Like, just really fucking weird fantasy shit, just so they don't go home and like set fire to their mom's mattress or something.
But you were inspiring children to like take up a niche hobby, like. Fucking, that's mental. Like kids just start fucking. It's like you get them weird YouTube videos where it was like, the Peppa Pig ones. It was like, if you set your oven onto certain like temperature 200 degrees and leave it open, then fairies will appear and they just burn down the kitchen. That's fucking.
That's just
wild.
reminded me of a flashback of one, like probably the most wholesome memory of a show that I've ever had was
Wholesome? Okay.
doing. I think it was was it Portsmouth? No, it was Maidstone Tattoo Convention. It was the second year in a row that I'd been there, and the first year I'd done it, and the organizer's little girl, she was there, and I was there with this other girl, and we were performing all weekend together. And she was like a little sister. She was like a little mini me. She was watching, just like so content, and apparently she'd gone home that night, and she'd done a little loop in her little top, and was running around going, "I'm a fire lady." So then the next year when we came back, she was a little bit older, and she remembered us. So by the end of the weekend, she'd seen us do some stuff, and then we'd gone and we'd learned like a little 2-step routine together without fire, of course. We give her little props. And then took her on the stage to the end of our little routine so she could do it with us and get a clap. And her granddad was just in the corner crying his eyes out.
That's so sweet.
It was the most
that is quite
wholesome
sweet.
thing of my life. She was about 5. So cute, dude.
Oh, it's proper sweet. I love that. But
Next generation.
yeah. But speaking of the strange requests, we do have on our spreadsheet because we're proper official.
Oh god. Strange.
Obviously being a female streamer and kind of line of work you're in, that when you're on stage, you kind of have to dress a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah. We'd imagine you probably get some pretty strange DMs from people.
Yep.
If you have had any, like, you want to touch on maybe some of the weirder ones that you've had?
Twitch or DMs?
Both, I guess. Like the weird ones.
Who slides into the Twitch whispers? First of all, like that's fucking weird.
Oh, dude, Twitch whispers are sus, but I refuse to open them. It's just a no. But probably the most recent attempt at repetitive sliding into the weirdness would be the guy that seems to be obsessed with poop. I think he thinks I keep seeing these messages, or chat sees these messages, so he gets something from this. But it gets weirder and weirder every time because it auto gets flagged. So the mods see it and I see it. So I just got to the point where I don't engage with it. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but it basically is good. It says like when you die, I'm gonna shit in your mouth and inhale it. And dude, it gets really weird. Like I'm gonna crawl into your coffin and suck the shit from your it's bad, dude. So yeah, the mods have a really fun time trying to filter that out. That's fun. Sometimes he likes to make different like usernames that are poop related too, and sometimes he's really clever about it. Like it's only subtle. You start to read the name like "Thank you for the follow," blah blah blah, and then you're like blah 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 poop.
Shit. You know for a fact he's making bonus to follow
shit.
you.
Oh, 100%.
You can't say oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, biscuits. Oh, fucking cheese and crackers.
Okay, so also, guys, so just before we carry on, because like I'm sure there are some more good ones. Don't be a fucking weirdo, people. All right,
please
be fucking nice.
Yeah.
Don't be fucking weird. All right, there's no right. It's not cool. It's not fucking clever. Pack it in. All right, like that's fucking weird. Like no woman is ever gonna read these DMs and be like, do you know what? Yeah, do you know what? He's right.
You're not
It's
Sonic.
like, no, it's not gonna happen.
You're not Sonic.
I
Like,
promise you.
any like they could be like happily married or whatever, getting to know someone. Like, you know what, babe? I've had an offer I cannot turn down from this.
He said he was going to suck the shit from my ass. Must have him now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, literally, babe. I'm
You know.
sorry. It's not you. It's me. I need some of this in my life, Mr. Scatman.
I think the weird part for me though is like you've got like I don't know. I feel like I see myself. I don't know how other people see me, but personally, I think I'm like it's not like I'm cut off from the world. Like if you want to speak to me, speak to me. There's nothing paywalled. Like you come into the chat, we have a conversation. I read every message. If you want to DM me off stream and DM on Discord, I read and reply to every single message on any social platform. I don't not reply. It's not like it's behind my Patreon. You must talk to me and give me money. Do you know what I mean? So to come in and be weird about it, I'm like, just say hello, dude. maybe shoot your shot, but just say hello.
There are other chicks that may be into this, but like, come on, man, I'm just trying to I'm just trying to do a nice thing, and like, you know, me and my community are trying to have a nice time, social in BC, and you're coming here.
Sometimes they're just like vibing about shinies, and someone's just like, shit in my mouth, and you're like, dude,
you are literally literally and metaphorically, man's come in stinking out the gaff with his dead chat, his shit chat, in more ways than one. His chat is shit and he's chatting shit. Like, it's fucking... Nah, man, I can't do it. I don't know what, like, possesses. I'm going to use the word possesses, literally. I don't possesses people to think, like Josh said, come in and start talking the most. It's like,
talking their shit, literally and metaphorically.
Because for whatever reason, you've given off the impression to this person, or you've given signs that you'd be into this sort of shit, and you clearly haven't. In their head, it's like, yeah, she looks like she'd take a dump. I could take a dump in her mouth. Like, what is wrong with you? Why do you look at birds and like, or anyone and think, you know what, I could fucking defecate all over her and she'd love it. Like,
it's so weird. Like, so weird. Like, you imagine getting married to her like that.
It's making me mad. It's making me mad. I'm fucking.
You know, and you have the speech about how you met. Oh yeah, he said he'd shit in my mouth once, and I just fell for him. Like,
it was love at first defecation method.
Yeah.
Like, so
don't be fucking weird. Don't be weird.
Love it. I was gonna say love at first shite instead of fucking.
Fuck off.
Oh, get out of here, man! You're gone. You're barred.
You're bad.
You are fucking barred. Yeah.
You're gone.
But yeah. So okay, if you had that, then you definitely had like some dick pics.
Yeah.
Like,
there's been like I like to feel. I don't know. I feel like I'm quite lucky in terms of I feel like I'm good at setting boundaries. Like, people can come in, they can learn the line. No one gets instant banned for being maybe a little bit flirtatious or a little bit friendly. People are gonna shoot the shot, and that's maybe a compliment. Not every time someone shoots a shot is it gonna be like, oh, you're sexualizing me. Sometimes people just find people attractive, or sometimes people enjoy someone as entertainment. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think when it is a problem is when you say, not cool, dude, or let's move on, and they cross a boundary. That's different. Or if they over sexualize and it's uncomfortable for everybody,
they start acting upon these intrusive thoughts. Yeah, if they're appreciating the entertainment, or like, you know, the beauty in front of them in whatever sense, it's like there's nothing wrong with that, but like there is something wrong when you start making the person feel uncomfortable. So I try to just be really vocal about that, and it's like, nice makeup, thank you, that's really nice, that's really cool. Or, I like your top today, cool, that's nice that you noticed, that's really nice, that's a healthy compliment. Like, I try to create an environment that I think should represent what I would accept or find okay outside, because actually that might be really helpful to certain people that maybe don't have engagements with females or engagements with people in general. I think that's quite a healthy dynamic to have, and to be like, maybe some people haven't learned no, or heard no, actually that makes me uncomfortable, and they're like, oh shit, I never really thought about that. Like, that I think is quite a healthy thing to try and be vocal about, rather than just ban. Like, you're banning, but you're not telling them why you're banning. It's like, it's okay to find someone attractive, or it's okay to find someone sexually attractive. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here to kink shame. If you want to shit in someone's mouth, you fucking go for it. Like, I'm not here to shame, but I'm not your girl. I'm not going to do that. Like, but it's when people don't respect boundaries is my line. Yeah.
And I think I'm quite lucky that my community know my line, and sometimes they'll step in so I don't even need to. It'll be like, yo, not cool, dude, or yo, who's this? You know, or they'll jokingly put the ban ham, and that's that little single of like, we've got your back, we acknowledge this person maybe ain't a homie, like, whatever. But yeah, the DMs can get a bit wild, but again, it only takes a message back like, no, that's not cool, dude, or I don't want to talk about that, or it makes me uncomfortable, or hey, just message me in Twitch chat. And if it's not suitable for Twitch chat, it's probably not suitable for my DMs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Have there ever been any that, like, in real time, you've sort of not had to deal with, because you said you've got a good mod team and a good community that can help you, but have there ever been any when it's just like, yeah, this guy's like really, and it's like, and it's proper got to you, or do you feel like you said before, that
sometimes I feel like I was born a people pleaser. I don't like to upset anybody, and I don't like to feel like I'm
understandable,
like, too special to speak to someone, or I'm too good to, like, that's never been me. Like, I'm been born bred dork. Like, I've never been super popular, but I've never been a complete loner. I've always kind of just wanted to get on.
And not, like,
like, who am I to tell somebody that they can't talk to me? Like, that's just dumb, right? But at the same time, I should be respecting and so should everybody. So I feel like there's been times where I don't want to say that people make me feel uncomfortable, or there's times where maybe people try to gift you subs and then over compliment you and be like, well, I've done this, so you must do that.
That's like the Twitch
it's not
equivalent
transactional.
of the Twitch equivalent of buying you a drink. Therefore, you're my property, and we do things.
Yeah,
for the rest
exactly,
of the
and
night
that is something that I've always been super firm on because
Touch
I can't be
grass,
bought.
man. Yeah, no,
you can come in and never gift any subs and never donate any bits or any money, and I will treat you exactly the same as somebody comes in and drops thousands of pounds, because it's happened. Do you know what I mean? People do crazy things sometimes, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be allowed to get away with things just because you've been nice to me. Like, I will treat you the same, because then I won't feel guilty about putting my boundaries out there. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, to be fair, I do kind of want to get a little bit deeper into this topic because I think it's important. So one thing that me and Thomas do, especially when we have female guests on, is we try and bring up the importance, like particularly to men, because sadly it's generally men who,
especially to men,
who have this weird thing about wanting to take things further, can't take no for answer. And, I think it's important that we talk about these things and bring it to light. And, as you said, teach people lessons. Have you had any of these kind of people that have taken it too far to maybe outside of DMs to to IRL stuff? So we had Momo on one of our earlier episodes, and she said that she had someone who was basically stalking her effectively, from these streams and stuff like that. Have you experienced anything like that yourself?
Without too much detail, I won't go too much detail, but there's been times where I had to move house. Effectively, we play a game in which it's very easy to find out where people live or near or narrow down, and you spend enough time, they'll be able to work it out. And I found I had to completely move and change the style of my content and things like that. And that was rough because I'd gone from at the time, I don't regret it. I've found my niche, so I'm happy with the content I'm making, but I was chilling on front page with 5,000 viewers to having to move my house and unable to stream for a month just because I was scared that maybe somebody would show up and do something really horrendous to me, and that would be all because I was a streamer. Do you know what I mean? That no one should have to have that fear.
But then, so how did it get to that point? Kind of the question. So you don't have to go into specifics, so to speak. But that is quite a drastic change to your lifestyle, right? As you said, if you're in a position where, especially if you're live streaming, you're very open, basically, to the world, because that is the internet. So like I said, by all means, if you don't want to talk about it, just obviously say. But I'm just curious as to how it got to that stage where you were no, I have to, move away from particularly, potentially a place, that you called home, your safe space. You know?
I think without into too much detail, is knowing that when people start to learn your routine, knowing that when stops get lured up when you're about to go live with certain names of accounts that they've made just for you, and when you're going into a raid and that account appears in the raid that you're doing, they know that you then know they're watching your stream and you don't know who they are. And then all these other accounts pop. Do you know what I mean? It gets to that invasion point of it's probably not okay. I probably should,
It's just getting a little
I probably won't go into too much detail. It's,
no, I get it's getting a little too close,
when it goes on for months,
home.
It's not just a kid trolling. It's somebody that's going out of their way to really make you feel uncomfortable, clearly visually uncomfortable, and they clearly got something to prove. When names are sexualized that they're using, that makes you feel even more uncomfortable. But in general, for the IRL stuff, I've been lucky. I've only ever been, well, let's be real, I don't touch grass. I don't really go outside. I hadn't really integrated back out since the pandemic. I've only recently started been going out a bit more. I've gone to one IRL event ever, and that was for GoFest London. And it was the first time I got to meet everybody from Twitch, and that was super fucking cool. Everyone was really respectful. One person was a little bit poorly, and at the start I said, look, if you think you're poorly, maybe we need to stay away from each other, because I've just spent 2 years of my life locked away from the world, so I didn't die. If we could just, maybe you keep a mask on and you may stay away, we can still hang out, but maybe we just be safe about it. And even that boundary was respected. Turned out they did have COVID. It was really lucky we didn't mingle, but everybody was respectful. Everyone kept boundaries. It's not every guy. It's not every Twitch viewer. It's very small minority of people. But again, it's how you treat people. I don't want to shame people for being into things that maybe I'm not into, or that I don't feel like we've got that kind of dynamic or relationship or know each other well enough that we would ever do. But equally, it's just about understanding boundaries. Shoot your shot by all means, but if someone says they feel uncomfortable, stop. Move on. It doesn't mean you then have to feel embarrassed and then leave the stream and never go back. It doesn't mean you've done something wrong by finding someone attractive. But equally, to the female streamers, to females, don't shame people for shooting their shot. Do you know what I mean? If they've been respectful and just said, hey, you're pretty, do you want to go out for a drink? There's nothing wrong with that. So there can be lessons learned both sides, I think, with how you deal with things. You can't embarrass them on the internet for views and shame them for shooting the shot.
I do understand that, but it's like at the same time, like me, for instance, I'd never get people coming in and being like saying the sorts of things that you might experience in yours, even if it is you see it on more of a casual level and you're used to it. But it's like, I wouldn't people going like, oh fucking hell, do like all this, like not saying it happens in your chat at all, but like it's just the fact that like being a girl in gaming and a female streamer is like, it just leaves you and on the internet as well, it just leaves you more open and susceptible to these sorts of like comments. And even if like you think now like, oh yeah, no, it's fine, I don't want to kink shame, but at the end of the day, it's like you're not an object of someone else's like fantasy. Like if they're watching you,
it's exactly that, isn't it? I am not a sex worker. I'm a Pokemon Go streamer. There's nothing wrong with being a sex worker. There's a platform for it. Twitch is not a platform for being a sex worker. If you're wanting to purchase a service by saying, hey, if I give 10 subs, do a squat, you're looking for somebody that's performing and offering that action. I am not. So by coming in and offering that to me, would you go and offer it to somebody on the street? No, they'd probably slap you and be like, get away, you pervert. Like, why is it any different online? It's not, is it? There's nothing wrong with the action, but it's about the time, the place, and boundaries for people that are not offering a service.
So it kind of comes back to like, so to be fair, we've kind of been on a streak on the podcast where the last few episodes we've kind of just been like pushing a more like positive narrative. We've been talking about such a different array of subjects, and I think it just goes back to, you know, kind of the thing that we keep going back to, and it's, you know, just be nice to each other. You know, I'm not saying, you know, people are ever gonna have the chance to date you, for example, but I'm just saying people would have more of a quote unquote chance from just being nice and genuine, as opposed to, you know, putting themselves out there in a way that, to be fair, like most of these people know that what they're doing isn't normal.
It's futile. It's futile and nothing's going to come from it, but they still do it. They get a weird kick out of it anyway.
Yeah. You know, so, you know, just be nice to each other. That is the be all and end all. Just be nice to each other. You know, be happy when other people are happy, and, you know, that's basically it, you know. But I guess to go from the kind of stranger people, so we have this we have this on our spreadsheet in caps. So we want to talk about Simps, okay? So, and, you know, we don't mean this in a way to you know, sound like we're stereotyping, but have you had any kind of like people you would class as like simps in your chat?
I feel like it's a weird one for me, because I feel like, I don't know whether it's a naivety or whether it's just the kind of community I feel like I've built, that people are nice for the support and the content, and that may be a little bit naive of me, but I feel like the people that gift big to me or do nice things, I've seen do for people on an equal level, if not more, but to male streamers as well. These tend to be people in the community that are very generous to content creators. It's not to females. It's not to simp over a particular person. I feel like the general income for me is made from a consistent support from a little bit of everybody and from sponsors from games. It's not built up of one person or two people or three people going hard. Like occasionally you'll pop off for a certain event during, but I don't think I have since. I don't think it's a thing for me.
So, because there was a thing that happened within the Pogo community not that long ago. I think it was on Momo's stream. Well, I think some guy had come in and didn't he donate like £1,000 like back to back or something like that?
Yeah. Are we thinking of the same person? Are we thinking of the same person that donated on like a few streamers' streams, like Misha's? But it wasn't just. Yeah, but it wasn't just. He donated on. I think Matt Beer's in chat, so he can attest to this, and feel free to.
I won't mention names, but I feel like I know who you mean, and they've done the same in mine. Yeah, so from the outside looking in at the time, people could probably go, "Oh, simp," but actually, it's somebody that did the same, but for multiple people around the same sort of time, stemming from personal circumstance of their own and wanting to pay it forward and make other people feel happy. Nothing wrong with that, but equally, I think if you look from outside in, the immediate reaction for a female content creator getting that kind of money is, "Oh, you simp," and it's to shame the person doing it, and it's such a weird dynamic because when the same person does it to another guy, it's "Go on, lad, get that bag." When it's for female, it's "Oh yeah, he wants a bit." Do you know what I mean? It's a very weird dynamic on Twitch.
Have you ever had anyone come in and like donate like a lot of money, and it's made you be like, that is like a lot?
Yeah, it was that one person. It was life-changing for me. That actually changed my life. It was a lot. I won't mention how much money, but it changed my life because it paid my bills and mortgage for half a year. To me, that security didn't exist from having, you know?
So this makes me think we're thinking of different people, because I'm pretty sure the person that I'm talking about charged it all back, which is a really shitty thing to do, by the way. People don't fucking do that.
I don't know if we're thinking the same person, because I think the person that we're all like, maybe apart from you're referring to, this person also like donated to Matt, who like vouched in chat, and he's a nice guy as well. Like I want to think I met him at GoFest, and he also donated in Cool Stars chat as well. And at the time, it was really big for her. Like she literally cried, like happy cry, because
I've been thinking of the same person. They're a nice person. I spoke to him, and my immediate reaction was to message and just be like, "If this was a mistake, dude, just tell me." Like at the time, I didn't cry. I wasn't sad. I wasn't excessively happy. I was just shocked. And to me, it was that I would never believe it until it cleared, and I waited months and wouldn't touch it, and I did not touch it for months. And I tell you that now, but in case of chargebacks, because as much as it would be life-changing to have, it would have been life-devastating to lose it after spending it. And sure. I'm not a life of luxury kind of person. I just want to pay my bills, exist, play games, eat nice food, and hang out with my mates. Like that is life for me. I don't care about, like that's not it. But not having money to pay your rent and mortgage because it gets charged back would be terrifying. But I messaged them and made sure that it was okay, that they were okay, that they didn't regret it, that they didn't think, "Oh God, I got a bit carried away." But for me, I just didn't believe it. Like it didn't sink in. I didn't sleep for about 2 days because I was like, to me, I've never had anyone want to do something that selfless. That literally changed my life, and it was beyond crying or being happy because I just didn't believe it for a really long time. And then it kind of settled in, and I was like, "Holy fuck!"
When you look at it positively, it's like this person's like, this is their. We'll say it in a positive, like this is their hard-earned money, or this is their money. They've chosen to like give you, whether it's a small portion of that, you don't know the person's wealth, but like they've chosen to give a portion of that to you because they believe in what you're doing.
I still talk to them every single day. Every day they pop up, "Hey, how are you?" They never ask anything of me. We said we'd meet up at EUIC. I haven't met us like anything between the donation, and I was like, of course, we'll do that, and we plan to, and we speak every day. "Hello, how are you?" "Yep, good, how are you?"
Yeah, nice. That's really nice. Like those are the sort of like, oh, I think she's cut. My bad. I think she's cut. She's like staring at a star at the minute.
I don't know why it keeps happening. It's so fucking frustrating.
But like, that is a big W though, because a lot of the time, like I said, like you may, if I'm the first time viewing Kitty stream and I'm seeing, I'm not saying that I think that, but just using myself as an example, because that's the only fair way to actually do it. It's like I might think, what's his agenda, what's his game, sort of thing. Like, and it does happen, and it is unfortunate because
I did. My instant reaction was like, "Oh God, what's he going to want me to do for that?" It was someone I didn't really know so well, and they've been in a few times, and I was just like, I didn't know that they'd been anywhere else or done anything else. So to me, it was just like, who is this person, and why would they do that for me? Like, we don't know each other like that. Like, that's crazy.
And then you realise you weren't special when he done it to others.
I still.
Doing this.
It's Discord.
Oh, you're back now.
It has to be Discord. Discord.
Yo, if you're watching the Boozy podcast, go along and support the Discord by boosting to max, so he can get the nice bandwidth. Please do use your nitro to boost the Discord.
And also, just send some money to Josh so he can sort out his like Wi-Fi as well. I know we're tech issue, Tom, but like Josh has got guinea pigs on like fucking balls right now. Like we need to support us, guys. We're talking about supporting Kitty. Support us. We're a channel in need. Support us. I cry for help. But go on, Josh. Sorry.
So I was gonna bring up. So you spoke about EUIC. So you definitely confirmed you are going.
I am going. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said so EUIC will be your second in person.
It'll be my
event,
second
right?
ever in-person event. Yeah, I'm terrified, dude. I'm so scared.
Both in London. Both in London.
Yeah. You got any plans to come along to the social?
Hopefully, yeah, you'll have to let me know about the dates and times because I managed to book, but I could only get the hotel until Saturday. It was the choice of it would let me book if I picked till Saturday. If I picked till Sunday, it told me the 2 days weren't available, so that was dumb. And I was like, I'm just gonna book it in while I can secure that, or I'm gonna lose the actual booking. I think they wouldn't let me because where I'd pulled it up, it must have been the last booking for that. So if I'd have taken it off and then gone for the other one, I think it wouldn't have been available. So yeah, I should be there until Saturday at least. If I can try and get just a standalone for Sunday, maybe I'll be there. But definitely Thursday through to Saturday night.
Oh yeah, yeah, because so Saturday night is the big social.
The mega
really
social.
Excited for that. Yeah, mate, I'm so excited, man. Like so much work, has gone into these, and especially being part of the team that organizes them all. I want people to be there, man. I want people to be there. It's a lot of work. But so you did London Go Fest last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us about that. How was it? Your first?
It was so scary at first, and it was very bizarre because I never streamed before lockdown, and obviously since then I hadn't really gone outside. So going outside and going from being just somebody to going to be people the people would know what I look like, but I wouldn't necessarily know what they would look like.
You've gone from a face on a screen to a person. It's crazy.
Not even that. Going from just nobody, nobody knew who I was, to some people might know who I am. It was very bizarre for me.
You get a bit of attention now, yeah.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. And I just remember bowling up to Regent's Park and just hearing, "Oi, shorty!" And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, okay. And it was one of my longtime viewers. And it was really, really cool. And then spotting someone else and immediately just knowing who they were.
Discord is mudded.
So just meeting all these people. Oh gosh, who's back? Who's there? Who's gone?
Oh, it ain't me. I think it's Josh. I want to say it's Josh.
Oh.
Yeah, Josh is in the mud. But yeah, Regent's Park. Yeah. What? So you rocked up, and then you said people within your community and chat literally just recognised you.
Yeah, it was it was just insane to me. It was so nice to meet people, give everybody a hug. We spent all weekend together, the whole weekend, walking around, playing the event. We went to do the park day together, really and arranged another day. And it wasn't we went to another content creators meet and greet, but I didn't want it to be a meet and greet thing. I wanted it to just be, we're going to meet up and play some fucking Pokemon together. I would with anyone that I ever did before, it was weird to me.
You wanted to take yourself out of the equation. It's not necessarily about you. The most humble way possible. Yeah. It's not about you.
I just wanted to go and play Go Fest. Yeah. It was Go Fest, you know what I mean?
You're a trainer. Yeah. You're a trainer there like everyone else is. You just so happen to have a platform on Twitch.
Yeah. So that was really, really cool. It was really, really nice. But God, it was exhausting. I walked through my shoes, and by Saturday it was pissing it down with rain. I had to stop, buy new shoes.
Me and Joe,
the soul was gone.
Me and Joe.
It was horrendous.
What day was your slot in the actual park?
Saturday, the day it pissed it down. It was.
You were the same slot as me and Joe. Say that was horrible. We got there and it was nice weather, and obviously we got the t-shirts. I don't know did you get the Go Fest t-shirt?
Yeah. So I got it right at the end there. I was so lucky there was no one there because everyone was miserable.
So me and Joe did the opposite. We got ours early, and then as soon as we'd gotten ours, queues, and then literally, so we put ours on because the weather was quite nice. We had it on, and we were able to you know what, we're gonna enjoy it. Sun's out, new tops, gonna start grinding. 10 minutes in, bosh down, rain, fucking storms, torrential rain. We had to duck for cover, mate. We were down bad. We were doing Cresselia raids. It was that's what we could do.
I told you, man. Friday was the way forward, man. Told you this. Told you.
This guy and his Friday theories, which is why me and Joe have gone for Friday. We've Friday for Madrid at least. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
It is probably the play because I don't know about you guys, but we went so hard on the first day, on the Friday, that by Saturday my legs were already hurting. And then by the end of Saturday, I could barely get out of bed and walk. By the Sunday, I was in Regent's Park again, just mistakes were made.
So to be fair, I think I was down by most of the weekend, not because my legs were hurting, but because I was hungover horrifically for basically the entirety of that weekend. Yeah. And again, guys, drink fucking responsibly, all right? Because we do not, all right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was maybe sober for like 45% of that entire fucking weekend.
I thought it was going to say 45 minutes.
No, it was so bad. So bad, but worth it. I regret nothing. Did you come to any of the socials at EUIC?
So when I first got, I came on the Thursday originally because I went to meet at the venue where the London's Finest thing was originally on the Thursday night. So I saw a few of the content creators, and then on Friday, was it Thursday or was it Friday? It was Thursday, yeah, on the Thursday.
I'm trying to work this out in real time. Chat, where was you? We don't know. Wait, Thursday, which I'm pretty sure was...
On the Thursday was at my pub. I'm pretty certain.
We're not missing
Thursday, I can't remember what day it was.
We're not missing a bird
I just remember
pink hair. I'm telling you, there's no way.
What day was it? No, it was Thursday. We had Cricket, Brandon Tan, everyone. What venue was that? I can't remember what the pub was.
You might have been on
that would have. That would
have been. Was it the Finery?
Don't say the F word. Sorry, no, but don't say it again.
Yeah.
Let's speak of the Finery.
Oh, fuck the Finery, man! All my homies hate the Finery. Fuck them. They fucked us over.
For obvious reasons. Now I know that. But yeah. So we met a few people. Then I went back and then planned to go to the Friday and Saturday, but obviously things happened and venues changed, and because I was already exhausted from walking and I was already nervous, I was like, there's no way I'm traveling completely to the other side of London. I haven't planned for it. I don't know who I'm going to be there. I don't know the routes. I was like, it's not going to be safe. I'm not doing that. So I had to bail, and I was like, that's probably the safest thing to do, like last minute, because it was a really last minute sort of confirmation, wasn't it?
Did you travel down to GoFest alone, or would you just go there with the intention of just meeting up with people anyway? Like, did you travel with people?
Got a London hotel, but like far out, because it was like a safety thing. It'd been not long after I was I'd just moved, and I was like, if I get somewhere slightly out, then I'd be able to safely get back and not be in hotels that everybody's staying at right near where the parks are or Regent's Park or anything like that. So I travelled in each day, so it was even more of a ball ache. But I'd made sure I was staying with people. I was with mods constantly. I was always with one or two of the mods, which was really lovely. And like a lot of the regulars from chat, we just hung out every day. It was really cool.
Mods do God's work, man. These are just
they do.
These are just a sword, man. But give these brothers a sword in real life. Katanas, there, like chopping ops up in the street. Give Joe a fucking big blade, like he's fucking swiping man down.
You've heard Thomas. Like, all I'm thinking is, man, like we need to shake up the mod group view, man, because the mods in here. You lot, man, you lot are slacking.
Mate, to be honest, if we ever got into an altercation like me and you, and then we look at the mods, we've got Quack. Big up the mods, brother. Quack, Mike, and Joe. We are fucked.
Can you imagine? There would just be Joe stood in the middle, one hand on each of your heads while you're doing the swinging thing, and he's just like, nah.
Listen, big up Matt as well, but Matt,
Jolly Green Giant.
When Matt stayed at mine for Lil, and there was a guy outside taking pictures of his car, I had to go in a dressing gown and Air Forces and sort him out. Matt was in sword. I'm like, listen, let me go pattern him up in it. Listen, Matt, I was in shining armour. Nothing came of that. That was a funny time. But in all seriousness, big up. Like the message of that was big up the mods. You guys literally, we couldn't do anything that we do without you. So
honestly,
round of applause.
Yeah. Sorry, for some reason, like I don't know what that's made me laugh. I just imagine Quack being our front line of defense, and I'm like. Do you know what? I really hope he's still watching to listen, because I know he'd be laughing.
Oh, he's on a flight, isn't he? Yeah, so he might not be.
Oh, that'd be fucking jokes, man. I'd love that. That would be the funniest shit ever, man. That would be so funny. But yeah, so I can't stop laughing. I can't stop thinking about it.
You know what? It could be worse.
Oh, it's so funny.
Pain.
Pain.
Big pain.
Get into a fight on the street and Big Man Quack just rips off his fucking shirt.
Who's flying? Yo, Quack, my brother.
There he is, Big Man. EUIC can be a good time. You should definitely come along to some of the socials. You can have a drink with me and Thomas IRL. It'd be great.
You have to put up with me being clingy. I'm like, I don't know anyone. I think that's the thing as well. Going from like being a little bit like socially awkward. When I'm with my mates, I'm fine. But going from not knowing anyone to then meeting lots of people that already know each other, I feel like, I'm going to be that clingy tag-along person. Like, I don't want to invite myself to places.
Yeah. To be fair as well, it can be kind of like overwhelming to deal with.
Yeah.
Don't mean that many people. And do you know what? I hate it. I'm going to say it and people are going to meme it. Right. So there's this ongoing fucking thing about me, and it's like, oh, famous Mr. Av and all that. And it fucking pisses me off. I'm not famous, not like that.
Famous Mr. Av, yeah.
It's so annoying. Like there's one like standout moment when me and Jake went to the Ultra Beast event in London, and we were in the queue to get in, and this kid and his dad came up to him. We're like, "Oh, you MrAvalanche, like he follows you on TikTok. Like, can you get a picture?" And my mate was pissing himself. He was in absolute fucking stitches.
Oh, shit.
And then from then on, he's always just been like, "Oh, he's famous, you know. I'm like, fuck off. Like, I hate it.
You are famous though. You're getting like famous TikTokers replying to your comments. Like, you're basically famous now.
No,
my locals meme on me for that, like, because I didn't stream before, and when we used to play Pogo, so I go back occasionally to just do community day with them, and now like they'll pop into chat and they'll have a laugh, and because I'd not seen them for so long, because I'd stopped going to IRL events and I was streaming every single community day from home when they still had boosted incense, they came in one day and memed on it and was like, we haven't seen, like, they called me Kathy to each other in privately when they were all doing the community day. And my name's not Kathy, but it was like the joke that they've not seen me so long, they don't even know what my name is anymore. So they came into chat and was like, Kathy. And then chat, obviously thinking, oh, that's a big secret. We didn't know her name was Kathy. That must be her real name. Started calling me Kathy. They all changed their names. They've memed on it for so much. But yeah, that became like an ongoing joke now. They meme on me for like, oh yeah, big Twitch streamer. Like every time I'm out in public, they're like, oh yeah, Twitch streamer coming through. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up.
That's so fucking annoying. It's so annoying. And these lot who are watching live now on Twitch, they do it to me all the fucking time. And it's so fucking jarring. Look at Thomas laughing. Look, because he's one of the people that fucking does it as well.
Nah, it's Jake, man. Jake done it in the Madrid chat as well. This is Jake.
He did. So obviously we're going to Madrid for GoFest, and I don't remember the context.
There was none. I think he just said, like, "Oh, is that the famous Mr. Av?" No, that was it. It was Ingrid. Ingrid, it's Natu Day, got added into the chat, and someone was like, obviously, was like, "Oh, hi, Ingrid," acknowledged her acceptance into the chat and like trying to say, because she's quite well known, like big raider, big grinder, and then it was like, then Jake just randomly pulls it over to Mr. Av, being like, "Oh, it's not quite Mr. Av, like famous Mr. Av."
Oh god, it's so annoying.
I hate it. It was funny.
It's so fucking annoying, but yeah, like that is kind of the flip side of it, is like when you meet so many people in such a short space of time, it's so, like, it is tiring as well.
Yeah.
Like, so during that London Go Fest where I'd helped fucking save the Saturday night social and whatnot, and like people were like coming up to talk to me and like wanting pictures and whatever, and like I was knackered. I was so fucking tired.
This was Josh on Saturday night, like all the people buying him drinks. He's just there, like,
it was so bad.
Free drinks.
So bad. I was absolutely fucking hammered. I'd basically not bought a drink myself the entire night, to the point where I was giving my drinks away. So I was like, I can't drink them. I physically cannot fucking do it. I was like, someone take one of these fucking drinks away from me, because I can't do it. I can definitely attest. It's a lot to deal with, because it's not like an everyday thing you find yourself involved in. And all of a sudden it happens.
I don't expect anyone to know who I am. So when people do, it's that nervousness that I don't immediately know who they are, because they've had 3 years experience of knowing what I look like, my face, my name, and I have a username on Twitch. So when they introduce themselves as anything else, like their name, I'm like,
who?
No idea who you are.
Oh, MrAvalanche, you're there, like, yeah.
You say I'm like, oh, I know you are. Like, do you know what I mean? So we had this like joke, like, fucking wear some like name tags or something with your username for Twitch or your Pogo handle, and I know you are immediately.
You say that Adelian, obviously, you know, big man Adelian behind the London's Finest Socials, he did that at some of the London's Finest Socials, like when they had like in-person regionals, because obviously we were all battlers, we'd all know each other by in-game name. put our names on our thing. Like he put our in-game names on our thing first, and then it's kind of on us.
It breaks
being
the
like,
ice, doesn't it? Because if you recognize someone, you're like, oh yeah, that is who it is, and like you don't have to feel awkward about saying anything.
You know, a good
like,
way...
I think I've battled you once, and it gives a conversation started. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate when people do that. Like, oh, I think we've played before, and I'm like, did I win? Just say you lost to me, and that's it. And I hate when people do that. I'm like, I think we battled before, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care.
Proper humble, Thomas, proper
honestly,
fucking humble.
Respectfully, no, but I know a good way of sort of doing this. I found is buying the London's finest merch, because you can have your name on the back. And guys, get yours for £15. If you have the old one, £20 for the new stream compatible shirts. Not an ad. Hashtag London Finest sponsor us. But no, in all seriousness though, it's nice when you know a few people, because you can kind of cling onto them a little bit. It's like when you're at a party, like growing up, you go to house parties, you know one person going, and if that person like goes early, you're just there like, shit, I know no one here. I know someone here. Where's the sausage rolls? And you fucking and then obviously nowadays it's where's the bar? You just fucking full send it and just drink yourself till you get to a point where you're talking to, fucking anyone, maybe people you shouldn't. You go completely left, but that's good. It's good vibes. I'm looking forward to EUIC and GoFest in Madrid later this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. You got any more plans to go to any more in-person events? Do you think, or
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet. I would like to get back to going to do some like music shows and things like that. But I think trying to get more involved with anything Pogo related meetups. Maybe do a separate like meetup for when the global GoFest is. Trying to arrange my own for London and kind of recreate what we did for the GoFest in London last year. For anybody that can't make Madrid or can't like play anywhere. Just so we've got that kind of what we would have on Twitch, but together in person opportunity, because it's closer to most people than trying to travel abroad, So I think that'd be something I'd like to do this year. Get more involved and probably try and meet and speak to more people from the GBL community as well. See if I can start doing, get myself out there. Maybe trying some tournaments and things like that. Like I'm not great with Great League. Like Master League is my happy place. But I feel like I should put myself out there more and stop being so like, oh, I'm shy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think to be fair, I think that's kind of what Thomas is trying to do. So Thomas is calling hit this year. What is it, Thomas? What did you say? It's the year
hashtag YOTFS. I bugged out there. Hashtag YOTFS. Hashtag year of the full send. Just doing things that you wouldn't normally do. Yeah. It's like saying yes.
That's
to
how
things.
I got here, though. Like doing the jump on with you on what was it, Thursday? No, Wednesday.
The duo. Yeah, no, because we spoke about this, and then I heard you sort of like when obviously we mute the mic at the start of the stream, and then you lot do your little talk shit about Thomas because he can't say anything. Like I heard what you lot were talking about, and it's kind of what we spoke about at the end of the stream the other day. It was like about doing duos and collaborations with other like streamers and content creators. He said you don't really do it because people might not know you as the person that does GPL, because like you said, you used to do like raid streams. Obviously you did variety streams and stuff, so yeah, I guess putting yourself out there it can never be a bad thing. But it sounds good. Would you ever enter like one of these like sort of tournaments, or when you say tournament, would you do like sort of like the grassroots to sort of like dip your toe in, or would you
I'd probably dip my toe in grassroots, I think, first, because I feel like I know like in myself that I'm not at a level to compete. And I feel like I would be too nervous to jump in and like embarrass myself, whereas if it was Masters, at least I have that knowledge that I could at least stand a chance at getting lucky with leads or whatever and being able to play it out. But with Great League, I don't really have that kind of wide knowledge. So I feel like
I was just going to say, but Joe said it himself, like the Joe League competes, he's not very good, and he just enjoys it because he loves the biz, and Quack as well. Quack plays Master League and also like Unite and stuff, and he just rocks up in a turtleneck and just gets on with it, and looks like he's come dressed as his fucking LinkedIn profile, and he just, so many people, I think like I've faced people that in the most polite way possible, my last 2 tournaments, they registered in the first round, they registered 3 Pokemon. You have an option to register 6 because it shows 6 pick 3. They registered 3 Pokemon. The movesets are clearly not optimal. Like they're just going for it.
Definitely taking part, So
I'm like, that's the sort of benchmark. Like, so I don't think like whatever like you have in your hand, I know it like gets thrown around the community. Oh, skill issue, yeah, skill issue, like. Yeah. But I feel like you should just go for it, just surprise yourself. Because for me, I don't place no real expectation on it now. I go there, and whatever happens with the actual event, I know that afterwards there's a nice cold pint waiting for me somewhere, and I'm gonna enjoy it. So that sort of gets me through it. And you know, if I you know pick up a few wins, a few scalps, and I'm thinking. Listen, they're the one with a skill issue because these like probably devote the best part of their like free time to it. I work full time. I'm like, this is a hobby for me. These like, you know, going to like
I feel like
Twitter meltdowns.
Streaming sets is probably like a good practice as well in terms of pressure, because I don't think there's any more pressure than when you're about to hit a milestone like veteran or expert, and everyone snipes you, and it's like not only do they know your lead, you can't, they can counter you. Like there's a lot of pressure. You're reading chat, you've got alerts, people are trying to fuck you up, you know. So I feel like that in itself is kind of thickened my skin a little bit, but I do think I need to put myself out there, and I don't know. Yeah, I would like to put myself out of the comfort zone and just maybe inspire other people to do the same. And I think a lot of people started doing GBL when I started taking it a bit more seriously, and it's really cool to see those people like with their new personal best, like, hey, I hit this season, or I got vet this season, and it's really cool to share that. So that would be nice to rep other people, maybe inspire other people to enter too. That'd be really cool.
I think Twitter's a weird place. We've spoken about the last couple episodes where there's been obviously drama with all the other stuff. We don't need to go into that. You guys can check out those last episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. But anyway, so Twitter's a weird place. So in terms of GBL, people will post all their sort of achievements, milestones, personal best elos, and stuff like that. But like no one will post when they're having like that down bad days and stuff. Yeah. And it makes people believe that, oh shit, all my friends are expert now. Like it's cap. Most like it's like just, but that's all you see. It's just like, wow, everyone's dinging this rank and that rank, and it's like, and you're just there like you feel like you're in the mud. I'm like, well, you're not.
You don't see them tanking spring league to then climb, like spring club to then climb in masters. You just see them hitting it, don't you? So they might have had a really rough week before and got rolled.
Exactly, but
and then just went straight 25-0 or something dumb in masters.
At the same time, you need to realise it's a matchmaking game. The way it works, you're going to face someone at a similar elo or MMR range, so you're facing people that are literally in the same position as you. You're like, you are not that down bad. You are where you're supposed to be at that time. Yeah, you might have expectations, and you might have, you know, like preconceived like goals and everything like that. But you're where you're supposed to be at that moment in time. Just get on with it. If you've got a goal, work for it like anything. That was very satisfying. I know you're very pleased with that.
It was super satisfying. That was so satisfying.
But guys,
that fresh can open.
It's just a game at the end of the day. I wouldn't like. I was saying, Josh, I don't know if you heard, but like in terms of tournaments and stuff, I know that there's like a. Oh, he's like, I don't know what his camera's doing. Josh, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
He's cheesing. That's brilliant.
He was like this. He was doing like more cheese grub. I don't know what he was doing, but like, you know, I like Liverpool. I would say Liverpool Utrecht. It was like, listen, I'm like, I work full time. You know, if I get a few wins, a few scalps, whatnot, I know regardless, win or lose, right, there is a nice cold pint waiting for me somewhere, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and that gets me. It sounds really sad. It's like, fuck, you know, and it's like it's like I know that. Like, I'm using it as a metaphor in that sense, but there are people, like, I'm going to have a good time afterwards with the company that I know are going to be there at the socials, at the gatherings and everything. Whoa. So I don't take the tournament that seriously. But you see some people go on, like, Twitter meltdowns, like, oh, fuck me. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, just grab a beer and just forget about it. On to the next one, innit? Like, move on. Life moves on. So
I mean, to be fair, you know, that they could realistically just take, you know, the exact same approach we did. Liverpool was, you know, go out till 5 a.m. the day before the tournament, rock up the tournament with like 3 hours sleep, and whatever happens. You know what I mean? Exactly. You know, that's always good.
Exactly.
Which was rough, to be fair. Liverpool was fucking rough.
Liverpool was rough.
But speaking of drinking, I think it's probably getting to
story time.
You know, yes, getting to the good shit. So you know, we have this segment that we do with our guests. Obviously, you know, I booze you, talk about booze. You know how it is. So you know, what is your favorite drink on a night out? Like, what is the go-to?
Do you know what? When I was a lot younger, I used to drink beer all the time. And I think it was probably because I wasn't quite old enough to drink, and I was never asked for ID if I went and ordered a pint. Whereas if I went, can I have a double UKD, please? They'd probably be like, right, ID.
Yeah, ID.
But you don't go in, you can call problems. You ask for a pint of Stella, and no one seems to want.
It's true. It's true. I noticed it.
So that's what I used to do. And then as I got older, I didn't really drink much. Or like, so I would have like cherry sours or like WKD, or Purple Rain was a favorite. Cheeky picture of Purple Rain. But yeah, really girly drinks, nothing too heavy. I don't really like whiskey or vodka, to be honest. Yeah, just anything girly.
Anything girly.
Wait, take it back. Actually, zombie rum.
Oh,
it's kind of different.
Okay,
you get messy on the zombie. Yeah, that's yeah.
Turn into a zombie. We love it.
Yeah, they are. They're fucking heavy. And then okay, so bit of rum, cocktails. You're saying this bit of see the ladies at lunch, Thomas. You see this is what we're saying. The iconic ladies at lunch. Joe, that is only between like 3 of us.
There's a 3 cans there.
Yeah.
I've got so many cans.
Yeah. So then from there, have you had any like crazy stories or like embarrassing drunk moments on nights out?
I think there was one night where I'd come back from uni to visit my like friend from home, and she'd come over and she'd just come back from Spain with like some like cheap knockoff Goldschlager, anything that's got like floating gold bits in it.
Yeah.
We'd come back with some cheap stuff with that. We'd gone for pre-drinks. We'd gone to like the local, really like I'm talking, think shithole. You have to get drunk just to go there, so you don't know you're there type drunk, right? So we pull up to this like nightclub, air quotes. It really wasn't. It was just some dive building. Like, it was terrible. You would see everyone you ever went to school with, plus their family, and probably some of your family. Like, it's that kind of place. Everybody knows everybody, and I'd never been there if I could help it before. And I'd just come back from uni, so obviously everyone's like, hey, look at me. So it was messy night, messy, lots of pre-drinks. We'd probably polished off about 3/4 of this big bottle of Goldschlager plus other drinks before we even went. And then, you know, when the shots are flowing, we're having a great time, we're having a dance, we're proper, drunk to forget. And then the apple sours tipped me over the edge. She was like, go on, apple sours. I was like, oh, go on, yeah, sure. You know, when you have a shot and you have that immediate regret of, this is not going down. Force it down. That moment of like, I need to go because it's going to come back out. So straight to the toilet. But it's that moment of like classic me. I don't matter how drunk I am, my like sensible brain switches in. So I get to the toilet, projectile vomit, gold fucking vomit everywhere. Amazing. Jeez. There's me cleaning up, and I just hear my mate outside like, are you in here? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. You been sick? I was like, I'll be out in a second. She comes in, there's me cleaning the toilet. She's like, if only you would be cleaning the toilet. Come out. And now to forever remember that moment, we've got the moment where she decided, while still being very drunk, that she wants a selfie. And there's just me just post-vomit after cleaning, and there's just a selfie that we just look at and like, fuck. And after that, it was fine.
I do low-key hate friends like that.
Went back out and went for round 2. It was great.
I do low-key hate friends like that. Just trying to get like, man, you have to make sure like you are down bad in the toilet, fucking right. And then they're like, you right? You're like, yeah, I'm fucking. Yeah. No, do I sound okay? Yeah. You fucking idiot, help me! Like, and they're there like making.
Ended up having one of the really good nights. So you know, afterwards where you needed to be sick, but you were sick, and then you feel good, and you get a second win, round 2, and then all the drinks kind of hit different. I was at a happy level of giddy then. But
the tactical chunder.
Shot of apple sours and give me the tactical chunder.
Pick up the tacky chunder.
The tactical chunder. To be fair, so speaking of that, Thomas, the other day I cleared out my my voicemails from my phone.
Yeah.
And I had one. I had a voicemail from you.
Fuck off, you did. No, I don't send. Listen, only my dad sends voicemails. You're telling me I got drunk and turned into my dad? No.
I think I actually kept it. No, I did. I did keep it from the 27th of the 1st when we were in Liverpool.
What time was it? Does it have a time?
Midnight.
Okay. Oh, does it have a time on it? Yeah, mine don't.
At 10 past midnight, and it's Thomas on the phone going, mate, I'm here. Can you come and help me, please? And like, as soon as I listened to it, I was in tears laughing.
I'm here.
So basically, right, we'd gone out having a fucking great time. Thomas just disappeared, like
I do
nowhere.
This. If I like, you know how you said you have sensible brain, mine's like abort mission. Everything's fucked. So I have to get out of it. I ain't saying bye to no one. There's no time. Like, I need to go. Like.
So Yeah, so we were out. Our mate Tim, shout out Tim, fucking great guy, took us to Teddy's, which is like kind of like a rock club in Liverpool, because that's kind of like our scene, not so much Thomas's. We're having a fucking great time. We're all fucking dancing, Bringing the Horizons playing. It's fucking great. And then Thomas is just gone. Thomas is gone. But like we were all like just having such a good time that like you kind of don't notice.
Yeah.
And
Cheers, guys.
Yeah. And then I'd gone out for a smoke. And I pick up my phone. I've got all these missed calls from Josh. So I ring him back. He's like, Josh, mate, I don't know where I am. I'm opposite this chicken shop, man. I'm in a bad way. Can you go and take me home? And I rock up, and bro he's literally projectile vomited all over the fucking floor. It was so fucking
That's not
funny.
what happened. What exactly happened was my phone had died, so I had to go into this chicken shop. The relevance of the chicken shop in the story is that I needed a place to charge my phone. Now, the battery pack was dead, so I had the actual plug with me. So I went into a chicken shop. I ordered food, as you do. Ordered food, munch. I was a paying customer, so I used their socket, charging my phone enough so I could send voicemails. Apparently, I didn't know that until now. But phone calls,
smoke
Josh.
signals.
Yeah, flares. We're sending flares up on campfire. Fucking community, help us. But, we were looking for any sign of help.
Man down.
Yeah, literally, we were fucked. But no. So then, and then Josh was like, "All right, I'll come and get you." So then I charged my phone up enough, and I waited outside, and I'm sort of like on my phone, right? And then look up, I see Josh walking past, and I'm just like. And he was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Nah." And then we sort of walked on the other side. So the chicken shop was here. Walked on the other side of the road. I'd sat down at some point. Hence the photo of me in the cap, like all that. I don't know when that was, but I can tell you what road it was on because that was in the fucking picture. So there was like a cathedral or something on the other side of the road, which had some an impressive staircase. So we plunked ourselves there, and yeah, to cut a long story short, we plastered the staircase in our own vomit.
No. There was no we in this story. There was a you.
Okay, yeah,
story.
me, myself, and I. Yeah, collectively,
yeah.
I fucking plastered this staircase, and I think the thing is, I hadn't been drinking dark fruits all night. I had like one dark fruits or something because I'm like, I saw it on tap. I'm like, oh, go on then, let's mix it up. Like, let's get a dark fruits, and then that was like what came out because it was the most recent thing that I'd consumed. Yeah, so we basically chucked our guts up all over these stairs. Josh is there waiting to fucking get in his taxi. Yeah, and it was like. There was just like, was this female taxi driver? And he's just there like, oh, if you be sick. Like, if you be sick in his taxi, it's like...
No, hang on a minute, right? You cut out the main part. It had nothing to do with being a female taxi driver. She was driving it was an Audi A6.
Oh, it was a nice motor, yeah,
right?
I remember.
So it was a nice car. And I look over and Thomas is sat like this, right?
Like don't you dare.
Nogging out. And, right? And I'm like, mate, if you throw up in this fucking car, I will kill you myself. Like,
I would have taken it. It's an easy way out.
When I bet that dog. Sorry, that's in the chat.
Yeah. Mate, I'm not gonna lie, I 100% thought that was actually like a sound effect playing. And I'm like, I swear they're fucking muted for this. Yeah, that's right.
She done it the other day on the stream, like TTS. TTS Kitty just starts talking.
Manual TTS Redemption 4. Thomas Young, 1997. Sorry.
Why are you so good at that?
Mate, that is fucking ridiculous.
She did it the other night. I bugged out. I sat down. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know I had this female voice on my channel.
Being sick on a night out. Yeah, so that just reminded me of, like I said, I was clearing up my voicemails and just hearing Thomas on the phone. Josh, I'm here. Can you come and help me? And to be fair, I did come and help him. Good friends and all that. Look after your friends and all that. You know, shout out me.
The work wife.
Yeah, exactly. The work wife. Exactly. You got to look after him. Okay, so we've got selfies, being drunk. Any like fights? You ever been in like any like drunk scraps?
No.
Ever had to like split any of your friends up from any of them?
Mosh pits. It's more people getting handsy in mosh pits. Like going to like a rock night, like you say. I go to a similar like rock night. You have like the cheesy music they play sometimes, so it's mostly like rock music. And there's a little bit of a pit, but nothing too crazy. The bouncers don't like it. They like try and break it up a little bit if it gets a little bit, you know. But there's always some like chavvy guy that seems to work his way in and get a little bit handsy. So that's probably the extent of like physical altercation out, but it's usually resolved quite swiftly with like "fuck off, mate," like, and then you carry on. Or my personal favorite is to act like such a dick and so unbelievably unattractive that you embarrass them for being near you. So they definitely don't want to be you. So doing the crab or just generally just being really, really awkward is a lovely, great way for them to just fuck off real quick without being too rude to them, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so mosh pits, are you kind of like a mosh pit gal?
I used to be. I think I'm definitely way more tame than I used to be. I kind of lost that like fearlessness. But I've broken a few bones at festivals. Yeah.
What? Sorry.
Just
what?
You can't casually just drop that you broke bones at festivals. Like, were you hospitalised? Like, you kept she's just there on crutches with like fucking band-aid around her head. Like.
Slipknot 2009 busted my toes. I think it was 2011. I went to go see Trash Talk at Download, and the singer kicked me in the face, and like I looked like Andrew WK with the blood pissing out my face. And that was on Rock Sound, which was really fucking funny. I was showing chat the other day, the before and after. The photographer had taken a photo of me in the crowd, all happy, chirpy, summer vibes. I got this denim bikini top on. I was proper summered out. And then literally 20 minutes later, me pissing out with blood, like, yeah.
Before and
after. I love that. So I'm going to see Slipknot December this year. I'm so excited. I'm proper excited. Oh, which reminds me, I do have a message to pass on from one of our regular listeners, Tim, who couldn't be here. He watches a lot of your streams as well. I think he's chatting there a few times. It's a good little like bridging point, to be fair. So he asked me specifically to tell you that he loves your taste in music, and I will attest to that as well.
Thank you.
Because I feel like especially in Pokemon Go, there's not a lot of people that listen to the same kind of music.
It's such a risk, isn't it? Yeah, I think for a very long time, it was very, very samey. Everyone played the same 8-bit remixed music or DMCA3, and obviously you split the audio, it's not such a big deal, but like for a long time I was really nervous about just playing stuff I liked, and then when we started creating the content more that I enjoyed and I became more comfortable battling to music I enjoyed listening to that would get me hyped up, that I enjoyed, and it made me feel more at ease to stream because it made me feel comfortable with myself. And then working out that half the chat loved the same music, I was like, why the fuck didn't we do this sooner? Why have I been listening to some really cheesy chart music that I just don't like?
So I guess the reason why I brought up, so I've kind of been trying to take Thomas on a little like musical adventure.
I've noticed, with the Spotify, there's little hints of different genres, and I think that's important too because it's really, really cool to be in a Twitch stream, and sometimes you don't even recognize music, even if you don't listen to that genre. Sometimes I just zone out when I'm just watching the content. But being in Thomas's stream, sometimes now you see the influences from all of you guys because it will be a bit of Eminem, then it will be something cheesy, then it will be like a little bit of rock or a little bit of there's all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I see the influence.
I'm gonna start playing. I'm gonna start playing drill again. Fuck it. We're gonna put the.
We're
gonna start playing. Twitch driller. Big up Uncle Mystic in chat who redeems all the drill songs that end up getting played on stream as well. But no, in all seriousness, like in terms of music taste and like genre preferences, I'm like I have some that like it's. I'm a very situational person. Like, there's some that I'll listen to like on the way to. Well, I say on the way to work. I live 30 seconds away, but like maybe one song. But and then there are some that I'll listen to like when I'm out shopping, or some that I listen to maybe before like a game. There's some that I listen to on like a National Express or something like that. So yeah, man, it's we'll just listen to anything that sounds good. Like sometimes I won't even know like. Really, I won't know any of the words. I'm like, but I'll listen. I'll get to a point with me. I'll listen to a song like on. It doesn't really work with Twitch. If I listen to music, how I listen to it in real life on Twitch, no one would watch because I would listen to one song like all day, and it would make its way. After that one day, it's guaranteed to be in my top 10 at the end of the year on Spotify Wrapped. Yeah. But if I did that on stream, it's like fucking hell. This guy only has one song on his playlist. I'm like, I just can't. But no, I'm trying to like just broaden my sort of horizon.
Broaden your horizon stuff. There you go. Like bring me the horizon. See? You're learning, man. You're learning. You're getting that. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good though. It's like I wasn't like against. I'm like sometimes it's
hard for me. Like if I'm not, I say it like it's like a 21st century problem. Like it's like sometimes if I'm not really overly familiar with it, I'm not feeling it. I'm just there like, fuck it, we'll try and like bop along to it anyway. Or there's a bar there that can make this music go from a 6 to a 10. Like we can do it. Like bar has that effect on most things. I'm like 6 to a 10 after a drink.
Well, to be fair, I think a lot of it, especially with the kind of music that like me and Kitty listen to, like. Especially when you're growing up, not a lot of people in school kind of listen to that sort of stuff. So it's kind of
agreed.
It's kind of like put into your head that like, why the fuck would you listen to this?
Yeah.
And then, so like, there's been many times where like I'll just tune into Thomas and like I can hear him like humming along to some like Bad Omens or
I've noticed that more like recently the Bad Omens. I'm like, yes, go on, because
I think the song he likes the most I've introduced to is the Motionless in White song.
I've not listened to that one like recently. I think because, like I said before, I listened to it a lot when I first was introduced to it. So now I've kind of maybe I've like bummed myself out of it. I don't know, but I'll listen to it every now and then, sort of thing. No, I said the one that I'm listening to at the moment is probably like one that will I could put on repeat and listen like 7 times on my walk into town. 20 minutes free, about 7 times. It'll probably Bring Me the Horizon, Dark Side.
Yeah, good song. Banger fucking song.
I think this as well because they changed a little bit to, I guess, broaden their horizons in terms of like they grew up a little bit and they've got different experiences and they want to branch out into some of the other genres they like, and that's been really, really cool. With seeing a bunch of bands do that now, like different influences from different places, and it means you relate more as like you're getting older. Like you don't want to listen to their Bring Me's first album, but them doing it when they're like 30 years down the line, like it will get a bit weird.
To be fair, I'm so glad you brought that up. So, like, obviously, you're aware of like Bring Me's roots. And Thomas, if you heard their first album, you would genuinely be like, "What the fuck is this?" Because even I, who was like
football season is over and stuff. Like you would never ever hear that on Radio 1, would you?
No.
Yeah, like even I, as like a die-hard fucking fan, even I will not listen to it because I'm like, this is not it. This is not the
like
one.
I used to love it, but if it comes on stream now, I'm like, it's a bit much, and it's a little bit much. We'll dial it down.
I guess you can't bring yourself to take it off the playlist, but at the same time, it's like
because it reminds me of like nostalgic stuff, and it's not like I dislike it, but there's a time and place, like you say. Like there's time and place where I'm listening to some like R&B or I'm listening to like hardstyle or something, and I'm like, that's not something I would usually choose to put on, but on stream it kind of fits. And then when you get like the fusion of genres and you find like remix tracks that have got both those things together, and you can please Twitch chat because 2 different types of people listen to it like, oh, that's fucking cool. It gets them into the other artists that they've remixed it with, and then introduce them. It's quite cool.
Yeah. So you said you saw Slipknot. Sorry, to go on the topic of music. So have you been to like a lot of gigs?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like I used to be in a band like growing up, and we used to tour quite a bit too, but it was mostly a lot heavier than most.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Talk to us. It's interesting. Love this.
Very like metal. Like we actually went on tour with While She Sleeps when I was in my teens.
Oh yeah, fucking hell, right?
Yeah, so that was pretty fucking cool. But seeing how they fucking popped off now and thinking like, oh, that was really cool, we did that, but it doesn't seem real to me anymore because it's been so like long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up co-headlining in a festival with the Sugar Babes too. They were on the main stage and I was on the alternative headline. That was pretty cool.
These are very casual things to just drop in and be like, yeah, these are cool. Yeah, like, these are mad, you know. I'm sorry, like I'm there, like I went to work. I came home, like mental.
So but it's weird to me because I don't touch grass. You know what I mean? I'm inside my house most of the time, so it kind of just feels so like distant. Like that was
reminisce on the times when grass was touched.
Yeah. I've done my grass touching. I feel boring now, but when I try to think about things about me, I'm like, I don't know. But then I think about it, I'm like, that was pretty fucking wild, really.
Yeah, and that was me. I did that.
Yeah.
So you know, you got any favorite gigs that you've been to, like?
Weirdly enough, Slipknot will always be my favorite. I think that was the one time where I was like, that's fucking sick. Like I've never seen anything like it in my life. Like the atmosphere, watching everybody get on the floor and jump the fuck up, insane. It blew my mind to watch thousands of people like do something that I've grown up listening to, and I'm like, yeah, these are my people. That was like otherworldly. And Mon and Marth are insane live. I'd never listened to them recorded really before. I'd not really got into them, and then I saw them at Bloodstock. And then they basically invented a thing at that particular Bloodstock that I went to where everybody got on the floor and started pretending to row a boat, like a Viking boat. And they took that around the world with them after that, and now that's their thing. That's what Amon and Marth do on tour, is everybody gets on the floor and starts fucking rowing. It's insane. But it's just moments like that where, like, you can't watch that on the screen. You can't feel it. You can't get on the floor, get dirty, and just be around people, just being a fucking dick, being in it, like listening to. Yeah, that's cool. Who else? Cool. Yeah, it's those sorts of bands that have got that you can't capture it in like recorded, but they just give something live. Sabaton are great live. I haven't seen Bad Omens, I Prevail, or
Bad Omens are fucking brilliant live.
So those three are, for me, I think are on my bucket list. I've only really got into those three since lockdown, so I haven't had a chance to really see them. So yeah, Bad Omens, Beartooth, and I Prevail are on my bucket list of things to go see.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing I Prevail at Slam Dunk Festival in May.
Amazing.
That'd be cool. Bad Omens, fucking amazing live. I'm still trying to find someone to go to Stockholm with me to bring me and Bad Omens play.
Yeah, we've got lots of Swedish people from chat. Yeah. Maybe you'll have some fellow Swedes there.
Yeah, Bring the Horizon, literally my favourite band on this fucking planet. Love them. I've seen them like 6 times. Love them. They just get better. What about bad gigs? Because I know for me, like, the worst gig I've ever been to, I could tell you it instantly. But it sounds really bad to say when you see a band live and you're like, yeah, this is not it.
For me, like, I love Rise Against, but I was so disappointed I saw them live. It's twice I saw them. Both times I think one was at a festival and one was at an arena show. And I thought, given the benefit of the doubt, I'll see them again. And I love the band, fucking love the band recorded, but live they can't keep up. It's almost like they just want to rush through the songs and get overdone with out of breath. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if that's because they're older and I missed the boat seeing them live, or whether it's just disappointing. So I was disappointed. Not with the band. The atmosphere was great. It was just the actual performance was like, probably could have just listened to it and enjoyed it. Like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
But other than that, Marilyn Manson threw like a diva fit, and it wasn't like a cute edgy diva fit. It was like a fuck it, I'm not going to play. I'm going to wait for you to restart the song.
She full on tilted. Like, she full on just went.
Marilyn Manson, you must know.
Oh, was it Marilyn? Sorry, I thought you said Marilyn. Yeah, this shows my knowledge.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson. Yeah, but proper like threw a little hissy fit.
Someone clip it. Sorry.
Fuck up, Josh!
Please don't clip that. That is fucking hilarious.
No clipping. Clip the band.
But yeah, it was one of them, like, people have paid to go see a show. They've come to see you. They've probably traveled from all around the world to go see this particular show. And you're going to act like that. Like, there's a little bit edgy, and then there's like, you've just been a dick, just fucking perform. That's what you're paid for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%. So I was a bit like, oh, come on, dude. Come on, I waited years for this, and this is what I get. But other than that, I think it is what you make it. Like I said, I don't really drink much, but if you're going with the right people, you seem to maybe make it good. Sometimes it's nice to see like the opening bands. There was one band, actually, now I'm thinking about it, there's one opening band. I can't remember who they were supporting, but the artist was called No Bra for obvious reasons. She just performed with no bra. And it was just her speaking at the microphone for like an hour, just speaking. And the song went, do me, fuck me, do me. Like, just proper blank staring with his long hair and no bra. And I'm like, the fuck am I seeing? Yeah. Do me, fuck me. It was so weird, dude. Yeah, that's my worst show, probably.
Yeah, I see. My worst show would be when I saw Eminem play Wembley. It was horrific, and like, because I grew up listening to Eminem, so getting to see him live in England was like, was like, right, I'm gonna get to see like someone that I've listened to, like, basically like looked up to it in a way, and it was the worst live show I've ever seen in my life. It was so bad, and this was when tickets for gigs weren't as outrageous as they were now, and it was still, I think our tickets were 114 quid.
Jesus.
And this was back then.
Yeah, at the time, that's like mind blowing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it was like his fault, so to speak. So it was at Wembley Stadium, and the sound system was so bad that you could not hear anything. It was just bass and feedback. And it was so annoying because he played the entire set with Dr. Dre as well, which is like fucking insane. Yeah. But you just couldn't hear anything. Like you just couldn't hear anything. It was so bad. That was my standout worst for definite. Thomas, you're not much of a live music person, are you? Really?
No, man. Just headphones in, and I'm chilling. To be honest, like that's why I listen to like a variety of things. Like I don't have like, I wouldn't say like I have a genre that I'm like, yeah, I'd go out of my way to like go and watch them. Like when I was a student, they had like these like special like ticketed events within our students union. They were called like selected sounds, where like they happened like every like maybe like 4 months or something, where they'd get like some like artist in that I would like. I think one night they were supposed to have like Chip and like a few others just like come perform, and then Chip couldn't show up, and then that's get like Youngin instead. But like most of it was all just UK stuff that it was quite good, to be fair. It was a weird night because like Loughborough Student Union mainly played like cheesy stuff, so we had a room dedicated to the more like urban stuff and whatnot. It was called Cogs, or like short for Cognitos. But no, in general it was decent. Like they had like decent acts. Like Loughborough Student Union have got like for like their freshers ball and for their summer ball and their like grad ball and everything. They've got like, I think they've had like what's their favourite one? Scouting for Girls. They always bloody get Scouting for Girls. It's like
Scouting for Girls are great.
Yeah, it's like every but it feels like it's once it's nice, it's like, wow, Scouting for Girls. Then it's like, oh, Scouting for Girls again. It's like, it's definitely because the woman that organises, like, that's in charge of Ents and doing all this, really like Scouting for Girls. So, yeah, Scouting for Girls will end up keep coming back. But, no, overall, I don't really, like, go out to concerts or gigs. It is something that I want to do this year, like, with my... I've been speaking to my brother about it, because I'm like, because he went to, where did he go? They went to, it sounds quite funny saying it like this now. They went to Royal Albert Hall, to see Digger D. It was like Royal Albert Hall to see Digger D, and it's just like they really enjoyed it. So I'm like, I don't really get to see my family a lot. So like, if I can make an excuse to like spend time with them, and you know, it's something that they've enjoyed. So fuck it, maybe because the only real like interaction I have with my family, like apart from like on the phone and when I occasionally go to see them, is when it's like. I say when it's darts season all year round, but like when the darts are like somewhere near me. So recently they had like the Premier League darts in Nottingham. Didn't go this year, but went the year before. And they have one every year in Leicester. So me and my dad just go to that. But like I tend to like, I don't know. For me, sometimes it's hard to get the time off. Like there's so many things that I want to do, but it just feels like my hands are tied in terms of like time available to me. There's so many things. It's not the fact that I don't want to do it. I'm like, I have to not even be rational. I have to sort of like pick and choose. Like I have to like be quite selective with what I end up like, you know, either spending my holiday on in terms of work or like time off. Because obviously it might get to a stage where if I want the time off, I might not get paid for it, but I really want the time off. And it might not matter because I might be able to justify it. But there'll be other times where it's like, you know what, I might actually have to work a bit more this period. So, yeah, it's a shame. But I would love to. I don't know who I'd love to go see live. Like, if you were to ask me, who would you go? I don't know. I feel like I'd have to just like research, find something, commit to it. Yep, that looks fun, and then just go from there. Like I wouldn't be able to say, oh shit, yeah, I'm definitely not going to go see Eminem after what you said. But like artists like that, I wouldn't mind seeing. But I don't know. It's a tough one for me.
Well, so to be fair, we spoke about this. Well, I spoke about this before and kind of just roped you in like without it. So me and Thomas are going on a business trip next month.
At least you're honest with the fact that you wrote me in, because this whole agenda's been like, it's been my idea.
Yeah. But so the night before we're supposed to fly, 30 Seconds to Mars are playing London, and I really want to go see 30 Seconds to Mars. I you know, they're not everyone's cup of tea, but I really like their music. So yeah, so I'm hoping we can, you know, grab some last minute tickets. And yeah, I'm like, Thomas, if it happens, like we're going. All right, I'm sorry, like we're going. Yeah. 30 seconds tomorrow.
I won't say no. Like, if I've got the time off, if I can try and do like a million different things in that sort of like, let's say week. I know it's a bit longer than a week for like Lanzarote, but like if let's say there's like a week and I can do like a million different things in that week, then I'll do it. Innit? It's like it's gone from EUIC's gone from Thursday to Monday. Now it's Wednesday to Monday. So we're basically just chilling in London for a week, and we're trying to do like a million different things. Yeah,
everything.
Man.
Yeah.
So
I guess to be fair, it's a good question to ask. Kit, if you got anything like that you're really like, oh, you know, like at this point in time, I really want to go and try this or go and see that.
I think at the moment it's getting back to traveling and getting back out there, because I think after spending so much time on the road doing different shows and fire stuff, it was quite nice to be able to just go to different places all the time. And now I feel like I don't really ever like leave my house. So I think just getting back out there in general, going to different gigs, just going out and playing in different places, seeing different people. But nothing specific. There's nothing that jumps out at the moment. But I do think maybe a holiday at some point. I've not been on holiday for about 6-7 years, so it'd be really cool to just have a trip. But I daren't take any time off. You know what I mean?
So holidays. So like, you're talking like you've got a dream holiday you want to take.
Honestly, I just want some sunshine and a break. Yeah, I don't know. I think streaming it, I get so nervous about the thought about having a week off. Or having any time off, because I think there's feel guilty, or like you should always be doing something, or maybe people might forget you and not come back. Do you know what I mean? It's that real fear of like, if you stop, then maybe everything will go away type thing. But
but then
do
you not think maybe not necessarily now, but in the future you'll get to a point where you're like, okay, I need this week like to myself, or is that not a thing that you've had or kind of thought about?
I feel like I'll always feel like I could do more. I'll always feel like I could stream more. And if I am not streaming more, then I feel like I should be hosting some kind of like community social, or a hangout night, or watching a film, or getting a new sponsorship, or I should be doing something, editing or making a TikTok. There never seems to be a time where I feel like I could, like, do you know what I mean, justify taking the time off. But equally, there should come a point where I prioritize sort of thinking like, maybe we just take a week off, you know? Off.
Sometimes it's enjoyable just to do like things, even if it is for like not like your own development or anything like that deep, but like
to do something just not for content would be nice. So going and doing something and not having to film it, like going and playing a social event, playing Pokémon and not recording my screen to make a video for it later. Just going out and doing something that I don't have to document would be really nice.
No strings. Like you don't have to like just do it for the sake of content. You do it for like your own enjoyment. I don't feel like I can. I feel like anything I do with Josh now, there's going to be a little GoPro like capturing my best and worst moments now. I feel like I'm on surveillance. I don't know what's going to end up on the internet. I'm scared now. But...
So, okay. So I guess following that then, like if you feel that way, talk us through like an average day in the life of Kitty. So, you know, from like waking up to going to sleep, what is like the average day that, you know, that goes on?
As Thomas pointed out earlier, I'm quite a night owl, so I would say my schedule's kind of flipped. I tend to be awake like most hours of the night, and that's where I feel like I finally switch off. So I guess it's almost reversed to most people. But by the time I sort of get up, I always start my day. I try to start my day by laying in bed like for an extra hour. One, because of health condition, I've got POTS, and sometimes it takes my blood pressure time to adjust to actually be able to get out of bed, which is rough. But I feel like I start the day more productive if I check my emails and do everything whilst I'm on my phone in my bed, rather than get up and go. I can check socials, I reply to all the messages, I make sure everything's sort of covered, get up, and then I do my housework, get all of that sort of stuff sorted. Then I'll jump on the PC, I'll make sure that I've thought about what I'm doing for stream. It really depends on the day. Like at the moment we've got the sponsor campaign. So yesterday it felt like I've really backed everything in. I'd gone from doing my stream to jumping on Thomas's stream. Then right afterwards, I then hosted a social night for the homies. And then after that, I set up the sponsor campaign, and then sorted that out on the other end of it in the morning, then put out the post for it on social media. And then I did my stream again, and then I finished my stream. We just went to go get a drink, come back on, and now I'm here. It's kind of really backed on to each other. Do you know what I mean?
How do you organize all this? Because I love spreadsheets. I don't know about anyone else, but spreadsheets are fun.
Love lists.
Yeah.
I'm a list, and it's so dumb, dude. But I've got a little.
It's not. It's really not. I'm hella autistic. When I was a kid, I used to have so many lists. Like, I even do it now, like to-do list, like stuff I need to do. Like, I'll probably do one because I got
paper
work
diaries,
in the morning.
to-do lists.
Honestly,
I do the same. It's satisfying to sort of tick it off.
Yeah.
And I feel like it organizes my thoughts, because I feel like sometimes I don't sleep well if I feel like I might forget something, or I probably will forget something.
Yeah.
And I feel like I do all my best thinking at 2-3 in the morning, and I get creative at 2-3 in the morning, and I'm like, yes, I'm inspired. I'm going to do this. I'm going to edit this content, and it probably fucks me up for the next day. But I feel like I sleep so good knowing that I've set something up for the next day.
You've been productive.
Setting up the sponsorship.
Because you've done a day's work in a night. Yeah.
I might have been up grinding RuneScape till 8 in the morning, but I also set up the sponsorship, did all of the the stuff that was required.
She can't accuse me of outing her. She just confessed.
Yeah,
she grinds till 8. I thought it was 4 a.m. I'm up until 8. She said 8.
Yeah, it was 8.
No, but that's fair enough. I feel the same, to be honest. As long as you've done something, like, it doesn't matter what time of day, you've made the most of your 24
This is what I try
hours.
to explain to people as well. I feel like time's a social construct, obviously, but trying to explain to my mum, like, that it's not about going to bed late or getting up late or doing anything like that. It's like my time's completely shifted. Because if I start streaming at 6 p.m., it's like anybody else. Like, if you work night shifts, you then sleep in the daytime. If you work starting at lunchtime, obviously you're going to be getting up at a different time, or you might sleep earlier or sleep a little bit later. It's the same for, you want to be at your peak for when you're facing people, you're doing stuff. Which also means that after stream, I've got more adrenaline, I'm feeling buzzing, I'm like, I need a little bit of time to wind down afterwards. By the time you do that, there's a first point of the day when it gets to about 1 in the morning that you can finally settle down and think, oh, I want to play some games. And then you've got the homies, you want to hang out with your mates and play some games. Obviously, if you're on Discord and people see you playing a game, they pop up and like, hey, do you want to play? And you're like, oh, go on. Like, I feel like, the night time is definitely my best thinking time. But I'm a list person too.
Pick up the night owls.
Do you maybe think that this kind of mindset of I'm not doing enough has come from now in your career, basically what it is like, maybe you feel like you're so lucky to be where you are that you don't want to squander it, so you're
100%.
Like, so you're kind of always in work mode,
not taking anything for granted. You're going to keep plugging away.
You know, so I don't know how to word it, but I guess to describe it, you're kind of like, right, if I'm not live, then I want to be building something. You know, I want to be building something within the community. And if I'm not building something within the community, I want to be planning forward for future streams. And
I think that's the thing that some people miss about, like, the content creation side of things. Some people will think that, like, I just turn the camera on one day and everyone will show up. Like, you granted, you can do that. That's cool. Granted, I could be the best GBL in the world, and maybe people show up for the GBL content. But people don't, because I'm not the best content creator. I'm not the best GBL. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's constantly working on all of these different things is what's led me to be in the position that I'm in. So part of it's work, part of it might be luck, part of it might be being female, part of it might be timing. When I started streaming, like, it wasn't as saturated. But also, I feel like some of the things I've done have been replicated by other people, and they've gone on to create similar content and build similar communities. So now there's more competition. So even though it's inspired people, it means that I've got to work even harder to up my game to make sure that I can keep doing what I'm doing. But yeah, like you said, like, if I'm not streaming, I want to be then giving back to the community that supports me all week, thinking like we could be spending more time, we could be bonding, we could be, you know, really hanging out as friends, because it's not just viewership, it's like a friendship, isn't it? We're close because we're not just, I turn my camera on, you show up, and then fuck off, go away now, we're done, like, because I've finished streaming. We all speak most days, if not every day. We play games together most days, we hang out, we watch films. It's like a real community aspect. It isn't just I turn my stream on and when I stream, that's my working hours.
You just so happen to be the one that they're watching, but then they're like, it's not like, oh, they watch you, it's like a TV show, that's it, tune in next time. No, like, they can actually, like,
and I think my long-term goal will always be to not have to receive any money or financial support from the viewers. That's always been my goal, is to be able to see if I can generate enough viewership and support that back me during these sponsorships, that the sponsorship itself will be what funds me to be able to do what I do, so that I can spend all of my time engaging. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of the way I. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want it to be like a. So then.
Sorry. So I'm glad you brought it out. So I guess on the flip side, kind of, change the subject to kind of a dark note. Do you think there's an element in your head of like, well, I'm in this position where I can do this, but what if all day it just goes? Mm-hmm. Like, do you have that thought
all
in your head of shit, this could go under, like completely, and I'm back to square one. You know, so if that enters your head, how do you go about? First of all, dealing with it in a mental aspect, because that's probably the most important. But then, how do you act upon it in a way that maybe doesn't come across to the people who support you that, hang on, maybe she's doing too much?
Yeah, I think it will always be at the back of my mind, because obviously I still have to pay bills and I still do it full time, and it's to be able to give back as much time and support the community and be available to hang out and do all of these other things as well as stream. Like, it means that I have to commit all my time to that, and because I don't then go and work some kind of side job to make sure I can pay mortgage, it means that I completely rely on stream. So if it does go under, I'm pretty screwed. So I guess I have to just be my own boss and think about it in terms of a business, rather than thinking about it as just a hobby, because I then try and plan ahead of time. I think, right, what's coming up? So this month I think about Easter, I think about themed events, I think about what goals that chat have then raised, things at the moment. I've got monthly goals, so things that we can unlock, that if people were doing it anyway, I've done it for the month, and I've got different breakpoints for like, if we hit this, then this is what we'll do as extra. We've got some Lego, people want to build a Lego stream, I've bought some Lego, if we hit it, we'll do that. Model painting, all these other things that people have raised saying that they want me to create that content. It's kind of like a motivation. It's more of an incentive than a goal in a way, because if it was going to be happening, or we were going to reach that anyway during the month, it just means to get it as an extra, and it just it just generates something to aim for.
It's nice to feel like people contributed towards it happening.
Yes.
Because in the back of your mind, you're thinking, listen, I've got all this Lego here. I don't know when I'm going to do it. Otherwise, it'd be nice to, make a stream out of it or make content out of it. And if chat, and it's an incentive. Yeah, it's not necessarily like you need to do this, otherwise I won't do this. Like, it's not like, it doesn't correlate that way. But I guess it's nice to make everyone feel like included in the process, because like we've said, the journey, I'm not going to say it because Josh's face. But
shut up.
It's about the journey. But I think also planning things ahead of time. So I try to think of things like a month ahead, as if like you would as a normal job. You're planning for the next month. You want to work a month in advance and then think about getting paid at the end of it. I try to do that even a month ahead of that and think, oh God, because there's been months where I'm like, oh my God, like people assume you're a streamer, you earn fuckloads of money, and there's some days I earn maybe $10, and then by the time then that gets converted to pounds, and then I pay 20% tax on it. Isn't it? You're not going to do anything with $10. Do you know what I mean? But that might just be one day. The next day, someone might come in, like you said, and do something insane with a huge donation, and that will offset the month. But then I've got to think, hang on, how do I budget my money to make sure I give myself a wage in effect, and separate it and think, right, I've had a really good month this month, but historically, I'll look at my stats and think, oh, this month, and this month don't tend to be good. Why is that? Maybe it's Christmas, or maybe it's this. And then I try to put on my business cap and think, maybe we can then work on the months that historically have been good for me, maybe around my birthday or Christmas. What can I do to give back to people to make it worth their while to want to support, and try and plan events or do subathons, or play certain games that people know that maybe aren't going to be my favorite, but they'll be entertaining for people to watch and things, or specifically seek out sponsorships. Or take sponsorships and put them into the months that I know aren't going to be so great financially from viewership.
You've got filler throughout the year, so like it's like
exactly.
It's like a
I tried to balance jigsaw.
Yeah, it's not like a stupid question, so like just dismiss it if it is. But like in general, it's like you said, some months may be better than others, and this is like for me, like I'm someone that like listen. This is like I'm enjoying what I do, and I work full time. Like, I don't have that sort. I'm gonna call it luxury. I don't have that sort of luxury of just being able to get paid to create content or stream yet. And maybe I never will, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, like, do you feel like blanked out there. Do you feel like you have to like really, really like manage it like to a T? Like, would you have like past like obviously you get all the sort of pay slips and payouts and everything. Like, do you like how often do you sort of like go over those to know like what you're sort of expecting like in a month, or do you just try and gauge it just based on the time of the year?
I do all of my own accounts and always have done, so I always am very much aware that like this is how much I spent on this, or this is what I need to make this bill. I obviously know how much my own bills and overheads are, so I think about like, honestly, it's really just a case of if I have a really good month, I just don't spend that money because I'm probably going to need it.
You're just
like,
up, you're just up.
I always assume yes, because there'll be the next month probably isn't going to be so good. I won't be so lucky. So that's kind of how I view it. Like I had a good month, I had a lucky month. It is never a given. So I try to just be like, right, because then it kind of takes away that feeling like, oh shit, maybe I really fucked up, or I wasn't good this month, or I did something wrong this month. It might just be just how it is, you know.
It's business though.
Sometimes
like
lucky, sometimes not.
Like where I work, like okay, we know Christmas is very busy, and then like sometimes it's like okay, there's no real reason for like May to be busy, or like sometimes June to be busy, and then you know some years it will be busy if there's like football on. Like it's really situational. It literally depends on like what's sort of in the air and what's going on in the world, or what's maybe going on in your life. Like you said, a birthday month will be a really good month because it's like, you know, birthday subbies and biddies and all that. Like people will want to support you and like show love because it's your birthday. So no, it makes complete sense.
There was probably a time like it was last year even where you sort of get to the point where it's been like 2 or 3 sort of rough months in a row, and you're like, this is probably like my last month of being able to give this a go. And it's definitely come close like that many times where I've just gone like, okay, I've got to start thinking about what I can do instead, or I start
better, maybe
finding myself where I was in the actual like job listings and things, and think just in case I'm gonna need to start thinking about getting another job. But then it's that sad realization that I either really go full send and try and put so much effort into the content creation that I don't have any choice but to succeed, or I maybe just have to stop because if I get a job I won't be able to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess it sounds like it would be harder to go back into the sort of 9 to 5 now that you've made the sort of transition than it would be to like, you know, like full send it. If you keep persisting, then you know, first beginning something's got to stick. Whereas if you go back, then it will be very hard to like. It's sort of like it's sort of like when you're an adult. It's like you move out your mum's place. It's like you shouldn't really move back into your mum's place once you've moved out. It's like you sort of you've left the nest for a reason.
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad you brought up that. That's kind of what I wanted to go into as someone who's, you know, main income is streaming. So I would imagine when you first decided to kind of undertake it as your full-time occupation, I'd imagine though like that first month is probably one of the harder ones.
Yeah.
So how do you go about that from a mental point of view? How does that affect you? Because I would imagine, so the way that I see streaming and taking it on full time, it's not something that obviously happens overnight. It's something you have to kind of take the plunge into. For me, the way that I would see it is I'd imagine there's an immense, like, emotional and sort of mental thought in your head that is kind of like, right, I've taken this on, but maybe this was a bad idea. Like,
I'll be like completely candid, because I'm not embarrassed. I feel like it's important to be honest, and I think it's important to talk about mental health. But I'd gone from a position where I'd felt very privileged and worked really hard to do the fire stuff and lost it so quickly that I then obviously I'm self-employed, so when it stopped and they take it away, you don't have an income. All those future bookings are gone. Like I don't have that 1 month's wage at the end from your boss that you're going to get paid. Like it just went away. So I don't know if you know, but most people got like there was a certain grant that people would get as self-employed during the pandemic. But that was then factored into like the taxes and stuff you pay at the end of the year and all sorts of things. But I'd only recently before that done X amount of years to be able to qualify for those things. And it was my first year as being like self-employed when you backdate it by doing your taxes for a year. So it was a really low amount. So I was just like, fuck it, I have to go on unemployment. I had to get benefits. And it was so like, I was really disheartened because I'd gone from always working. Even when I was at uni, I was working, to coming out of uni, going straight into a job in a secure forensic hospital, to taking the plunge to go self-employed. And then it all went away overnight through something that I had no idea was coming. So I felt really shit. I was super depressed. So then to find streaming, and I'll be honest, like, it wasn't a case of, oh, when do I take the plunge to try and make this money and make it a full-time job? It was, holy fuck, people are giving me money. It means then if I start making enough that when I reported to the job center for saying I got this amount of earnings, they then offset it for how much you get from the job center because you've earned X amount, you don't get benefits. And I was like, it's an achievement to not be able to qualify for benefits. I felt like I was earning my money and I wasn't getting handouts. I felt a purpose. So that was the first time during the pandemic I felt a purpose, and I felt like I was doing something. I didn't feel worthless. And then people were coming in like, oh, I had no one to raid with, and now I've got some people to talk to during the pandemic. I'm lonely. And then that gave me some kind of, fuck, we've got something here. We've got a group of people that didn't have anyone to hang out with, that have now got something to do every day at the same time. We meet up, we hang out, we do some raids, we get some shinies. Like, we had a reason to start getting structure, and everyone had kind of lost their structure in lockdown a bit. And I think that was really fucking cool. And I've tried to keep my structure as close to possible as I had before. And yeah, so that was me making the choice to keep committing, because the other alternative was to have benefits, and that wasn't an option for me. I was like, I must do something. My mum always said, I don't care what you do in life, do something. Like, if you're doing something you enjoy, if you're doing something because it earns you money, I don't care what you do, whether it's studying, whether it's working, you just do something. You don't do nothing, you don't take handouts. So that's kind of how I was raised. So yeah, it wasn't a choice of deciding to just earn money from Twitch. It happened. So now how do I make this a thing where I don't? I don't know. I can't explain it. That's about as good as I can explain it.
I get what you're saying, though, because it's like there's always this sort of stigma with like universal credit or like benefits. Like universal credit, I know is what it is in the UK. For anyone else watching outside the UK, maybe you have some sort of equivalent, JSA, job seeker allowance, or anything like that. But yeah, no, I had it when I had I basically, like, to cut a long story short, I had a really good job lined up that I'd like worked for, like within the students' union, but it was also like university wide as well. So it was like, it would have got me, I would have been on like 32k a year, and then maybe a little less, maybe close to 30 like after tax or something. So it would have been like a really, really good job, and I wasn't able to fulfill it for like reasons which I still think are unfair, but at the same time, it's like I'm kind of over that bridge. Like I'm done with that. Like mentally, anyway, I feel like it was a good thing that maybe I didn't take it up. But then I had to go like straight into like job center, because at that time I was in like instant panic. I was like,
you're like, what am I going to do? How am I going to live? How am I going to eat?
Because it wasn't just me. I wasn't just thinking about me. It was me, and I was like, me and my partner. We've literally, at the time of me finding out the news that I wasn't able to take up this job, we were going to move out. We move out into our first place together, and like we'll like obviously start renting until we save up enough to eventually, you know, pay for mortgage and buy a house outright. But at that time it was like, like I didn't know what I was going to do, so I literally, they gave me like some sort of like a students' union gave me, what was it, like $1,000 or something for like loss of earnings, and I'm like, and they said they were gonna like, in their words, they said they were gonna like help me in terms of like sorting out the property that I currently taken on, but I don't know, there was like some confusion or something, because they were like, oh no, like we were gonna help you like get out of your. I'm like, there's no way of me getting out of this now. We've signed a contract. We have nowhere else to go. But basically, I ended up like going job center. My work coach, it was, I feel like this was pure coincidence, my work coach played Pokemon Go as well.
Wow.
So it was just like, oh fucking hell, what are the odds? I'm like, I was like, I didn't feel the type of way about it. I was just like, okay. And like at the end of the day, like there can be,
it humanizes them, isn't it? It's like a conversation with someone, because at the time you walk in there, you feel really judged, and it's like, okay, cool, we can have a conversation at least.
There can be a weird stigma, because the way people, when you think benefits, you think of people like scrounging
but don't
or
want
sponging,
to,
or like, listen, like having. The only UC I received is because I joined the job that I'm at now halfway through a pay period, so I didn't earn enough to So like I didn't earn a lot in that pay period because I joined halfway through. So I got a bit through universal credit. Other than that, every other month that I was there, because I was for a government scheme called Kickstart, which is basically aimed at getting like 21 to 25-year-olds back into full-time work.
Yeah.
So I ended up like after that sort of, and it was only like £200 or something because I joined halfway for a pay period. But other than that, like I worked enough hours because they were supposed to guarantee me 25 a week minimum. I worked way more than that because I was willing and keen, and I needed the money evidently. So so I didn't get paid like a penny afterwards from universal credit after that, and then it got to the point where my Kickstart ended. Like I now work there full time. Like I'm one of the managers that I work like pretty much like more hours than the salaried staff that are there. Like I work a lot, and like it's just one of those things. Like some people like they see like job seekers allow stuff that they're acting like, you know, you want to be on that like for the rest of your life. Like it really doesn't get you through. Like because I have someone that I work with that is also like, he's on universal credit as well, and sometimes he doesn't want to work a lot in a pay period because he doesn't get a lot of universal credit. But then, put context, he lives on his own, doesn't really have anyone, sort of thing. So sometimes it really is situational.
Yeah.
Like it really is. But yeah, for you, like having sort of like maybe like sort of staring reality in the face and being like, oh, this is like,
it was just so sudden. I think it's just, it really instills in me like, just remember how lucky you are. Like it is not a given. Like this is something I want to do and something I enjoy, and it's a privilege. And I could quite easily just have to go give it all up and go do a 9 to 5. Like it's that simple. So you can either choose to put the effort in and you can choose to do that grind, or somebody else will. There's someone out there that will want to be able to do what you're doing. So I try to make sure I remember how lucky I am and remember that you get back what you put in. Like you can't expect to just go live and people show up. Like you've got to make sure that you're acknowledging how supportive people are, acknowledging that people are showing up to support you, so actually deserve just as much support and time back. So
and like you said as well, like you can't just expect handouts. I guess it's nice if people want to like invest in you in that sense and your content because they enjoy it, or they just enjoy watching you, but you can't always rely on it. I guess that's sort of I know we've had it on like previous streams, like we'll talk about Pocket Monster Max. His was more sort of the dark side of streaming. For him, it was more like the mental side of it rather than any of the financial like implications and everything. But I guess these are the sides of like content creation that people don't necessarily realize or they don't want to talk about. But like
you don't really think about it as well. Important. The sacrifices as well, like it's really taboo to talk about because, like we were just saying, it is a privilege. It is a privilege. Anyone could and will want to do it.
But you've put you've not like that's not a privilege because of you. You've worked
forgo any kind of social life. I don't see people in the evenings. I don't have weekends to myself. I can't decide. Oh, I don't fancy streaming on a Saturday. Like I fancy having a lay-in or going on holiday. Like you do make sacrifices to keep routine. You have to be willing to always put everything in. Can't have a normal.
Is there anything you think you're doing? Like, do you feel like you're doing too much of maybe one thing, and like you should be doing another thing? I.e., you wish you would spend more time maybe with like this family member or like this friend, or you feel like you need to be doing more of these things, or do you feel like you're sort of happy with your balance at the minute? Because for me personally, I feel like I should maybe be touching the grass more. Personally,
I think a little bit of that. I feel like sometimes I feel like just tweaking the balance and really, like I said, trying to push towards making sure the money's coming from the sponsorship so I don't have to worry about money coming from people, which means then I could just do my stream. I can then go and play games or watch movies with people or hang out with the homies, but then go and touch some grass. I don't have to sit there and pre-plan streams or content or think about, oh God, what am I going to do next month? Like I can just go see friends, or I can have a day off maybe and decide to do something else, or like I said, see family. Choose to play a poker event and not cast it. Or not record it, just be in the moment with my friends, not, hey guys, can you pause for a second while I screen record and catch this? Like it's
so I guess sorry, just one more question I want to ask before we kind of start wrapping up, because I've kind of noticed this throughout this kind of like chat we've had the last 2 hours or so, is I've noticed that you've repeatedly brought up the whole like working 9 to 5. So I guess like an assumption is you sound very similar to me, that one of my biggest fears in life is kind of being a slave to that 9 to 5 until you die kind of structure. So like for me, I'm 29 years old. I own my own pub, but to get there, I did from the age of 18 for 7 years. I did 6.5 days a week from 7 a.m. till like 8, 9 p.m. every single day, because for me, I did not want to be stuck working 9 to 5, earning someone else money.
You are lining someone else's pocket for what?
Yeah, like, and then and it was kind of the realization of actually when I get to the point where I'm able to enjoy the fruits of my labor, I'm effectively,
self-employed.
I'm dead. I'm effectively dead. Like I've passed the best years of my life, and I've noticed you've brought it up like repeatedly. You've brought up 9 to 5. Do you think that maybe is why you do so much, never think you're doing enough? Because the idea of being a slave to the system, quote unquote, is scary in a way.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think because like I said before, I worked in the psych hospital, and the hours I can't. It was insane, like to the pun, but because it was such high security, like until there was someone to relieve you, you couldn't leave. So even though your shift ended, if you're on someone's observations and they're at high risk and they were short staffed that day, you're not just gonna walk off and be like, hey, you're a suicide risk or you're a threat to somebody else, I'm just gonna leave you alone, it's my clocking out time. You can't do that. So it became mentally a lot of pressure of like
someone is
a couple of years
someone
of doing
is dependent
that, of working
on you, or people are dependent on you. Like that's what it's like. It's not
it was
just
great.
like it's not just a job. Then it's like shit. Like
this
is someone else's life.
And I think I always will work in mental health to some capacity, but I think during lockdown it really hammered home that I can give that same mental health support for free as a not paid for service just by having conversations with people and allowing people to have a space where we can just say, fuck off world right now, fuck off pandemic, we've got our own little happy bubble, and not everyone has to be happy whilst in the bubble, but everyone leaves their shit at the doorstep. And that was really important for me. Don't bring your drama in, bring it to my DMs. I will happily sit there and I'll listen to you vent, I'll listen to you cry, I will give you advice, I will seek out some kind of support for you by all means, but not in our happy bubble of stream. That's the place where you come to just be a human and forget about everything else, just for even an hour, 2 hours, and just creating that little bubble of you won't be judged in here. You can be yourself. You can love who you want to love. You can ignore like the negativity. You can ignore the news, anything political. Like we just try and leave it at the doorstep.
Like, it won't help it go away, but it's a nice distraction from it at least.
To bring it back to the 9 to 5 thing, I feel like partially as well, like I recognize my limitations health wise. Like I'm not a very healthy person. I've got a lot of chronic illness, and I started to realize that I was getting to the point where I was really harming myself and becoming really unwell because I couldn't pick my hours. If I was unwell that day, I was killing myself in effect just to try and make it work to put a roof on my head. And then I realized with the fire stuff that if I could pick and choose my hours when I was healthy, I could work really hard, and then maybe I would have to pay for it and recover for a couple of days afterwards, but then I could have some time off and really enjoy life. And like I said, fruits of your labor. In the moment I could have a holiday, in the moment I could go on a trip, in the moment I could have a lay-in, in the moment I could learn a new skill or read, or not have to think, fuck, my boss says today at 9 o'clock I've got to start work and do this. Like I think be your own boss, cut out the middleman. I agree.
I think the only reason why I bring that up, and I feel quite strongly about taking the plunge, but being very much aware that you are going to have to put the time in to see anything. Within the last couple of years, I broke off from a friendship of someone that I was really close with, someone that I would call my brother, like literally loved him to bits. And to the point where I'd done, like I said, I did 7 years of 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. every fucking day for 6.5 days a week. I had half a day off a week, but I was very much aware of what I was doing because, I did it for me because I wanted to be successful and to enjoy it. And I broke off this friendship because I started to notice a change in behavior. And when I pulled him up on it, it was about money and free time and blah blah blah. And in my head, I was like, how could you possibly, as a friend, call out another friend who's been nothing but good for you because they're, they are being successful and they're putting themselves and their career first. And I felt like that was such a weird mindset to have. But a lot of that comes back to how I was brought up and raised. Of actually, if you want anything in this life, you do have to work fucking hard.
You can work hard, yeah, exactly.
I think
I agree.
And I think
it's hard, isn't it? It comes down to partial sacrifice, and I agree. I think people don't quite understand sometimes sacrifice, and you're not saying by any means that you're not privileged because you're in a position, but the sacrifice is very much real. Like, you don't get it by not sacrificing, but also you are sacrificing those friendships because potentially without doing what you're doing, you would still be able to go out to the pub every Friday, banter, lads. But when people don't understand that, sorry, I can't drop everything, and sometimes those friends start to have kids, and then sometimes they're not available. It becomes harder and harder to make it possible to meet up and hang out and stuff.
Sure. And maybe halfway through those 7 years, I went through a really tough mental period where I went through a really, really bad breakup, and I still worked as hard as I did before. I kind of felt I was in a position where actually, Josh, your mental state cannot stop you from being successful, because you will, at the end of it, you will regret it. So I just pushed through it. And now looking back, I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah. Because,
it taught me a lot of lessons about life and kind of about myself of, like I said, if you want to be successful and you want to be able to pick and choose your own hours of when you work, and you want to be deemed as quote unquote successful, you have to make those sacrifices.
Yeah.
And you have to. There's no two ways about it. Like, regardless of how bad the mental health gets, and how you deal with it. I think for me at that time, it was right. But if I take my foot off the gas pedal now because I'm feeling really shitty, it's going to put extra years on how long I'm going to have to work and keep fucking working. So it kind of really pushed me through it. And it from talking, so I noticed you specifically brought up about the pandemic as well. It seems like coming out of the pandemic, you kind of took on that same mindset of, I might be feeling really shitty, but I
need
cannot
to make
go
something
back.
of a shit situation. Exactly. Yeah.
But I cannot go back to where I was.
Mm-hmm.
In your case, the pandemic, of having nothing just because I'm having a shitty day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's such a horrible thing to think about, of even if you're having a shit day, you have to think about you years from now and think, right, because I'm having a shitty day now, should that stop me from having good days progressively down the line?
Absolutely.
I do find it really random as well. Like, that's another double-edged sword as well with streaming, is that you're having a shit day. Fuck me, everybody is going to see your shit day. Anything you read chat, something you would not bat an eyelid at one day will really upset you, and I become a bit like, oh god, he called me ugly today. Oh god, I'm like, do you know what I mean? But sometimes it's really hard to just go into streamer mode of, I have no feelings, I am a robot, because I like to try and be transparent and honest, and it's okay to not be okay sometimes, but it's not okay to then dump it on a whole chat of people that are probably also having a shit day. Everyone can kind of see though when you're off. They know you well enough to know, maybe you're a bit off today, or you're a bit snappy, or you're a bit sad, or you're not as hype or whatever. But I don't ever want to be that person that is fake and woohoo, I'm fine, everything's so lovely, because that is fake.
You don't want to go into autopilot either, where it's just you don't want to just just be monotone and just take it. You want to try and be your exuberant, lovely self.
But then I think in a way, I think especially if you have a community that is as close knit as the community Kitty's built, I think people need to see your bad days.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's important. I think sometimes
because I think a lot of the problem with today's day and age,
everyone talks about the successes and not enough people talk about the downfalls and the sort of bad news.
And not even that is we don't teach people how to deal with those bad days. And the unfortunate reality is sometimes, sometimes you have to pull your fucking pants up and get the fuck on with it.
As a person, that's been hard for me forever, like, because it would be my worst nightmare. Like any other time when you're having a bad day, like I've always been retreat, sweatpants, no makeup, hide from the world, no motivation, don't look at me, I won't go outside. Like that's always been me. Like if I deal with it myself and I hide away, eventually I'll be all right, I'll get over it. Tomorrow I'll dust myself off. But having the routine and having to put yourself on stream is such a double-edged sword, because like you said, they are supportive, they're lovely, like, yeah, I understand, you get it, you'll be fine, you have a good, like, you'll be okay, I'm sorry that you're having a bad day. But also I then, as a business brain, have to think, somebody's coming in for the first time and they're just seeing me being a miserable, moody bitch. I have to acknowledge the fact that that could be a sponsor, or that could be somebody tuning in for the first time thinking, I'm probably not going to go back there. She's right, moody bitch. Like, what's her problem? Do you know what I mean?
You want to leave a good first impression.
But then I think that's such a good thing to do, because it's something that isn't taught in schools, and it's not something people talk about. But when people see it, it's right. Yes, you are allowed to have bad days, and those bad days will come. But being able to get out of bed and get your shit going is so fucking important, because the world does not stop because you're having a bad day. You still have bills to pay.
That's where stream gives back to me, because that is my justification. That's my reason to make myself fed up. So that's that. I owe stream a lot and I owe chat a lot for that, because if we didn't have that same bond, I would just be like, right, fuck it, give up. Like I'm just going to stay in bed today. I'm just not going
exactly,
outside.
And it comes back to, when you say, when you go back and you look at the numbers and you've had, you're potentially having, a quote unquote bad month, right? Those are when you're having a bad month and it puts you in that bad mindset, those are the times where you need to learn to go, right, it's fucking game time. It's time to, it's time to
sucks up. What we're going to do about it. I agree.
And I think it's important to teach people, particularly sort of like younger people, about the importance of kind of being realistic with your expectations. It doesn't matter how successful you are going to have bad days, but it's how you deal with them that will help you progress and potentially help you get away from having those bad days more often than not. But it's not, it's something that is so not talked about, but is silently noticed that, so, if you go on stream and, as you said, people know when you're having a bad day, but people pick up on those things and they go, do you know what? She's having a bad day. I'm having a bad day, but she's still gone on. She's streamed for 5-6 hours. What's stopping me from doing that? And I think that, like I said, I think it's really important. And honestly, it's very respectable to do it, especially when your work is in an online environment, when you're face to face with a camera to faceless people, just names, and just doing it. I think it's important that you keep on pushing that kind of narrative to people, because you don't know how many people that has silently affected and helped them get out of bed and go to fucking work when they're feeling like shit and they're going through dramas. Because like I said, the world does not stop because you're having a shit day.
That does hit different though. Sometimes you do get in chat the occasional person that will pop in and say something like that, like, oh, had a shitty day, I'm glad that we get to hang with the homies or whatever, or I'm looking forward to stream later. And that little things like that I'm like, oh, I love that. That feels good. No, that's the selfish part of streaming, I think. That's my gratification.
And I definitely think it should be, because if you're in a position where, if for example, you rent your apartment, when it comes to the end of the month, when your rent is due, your landlord is not going to let you off your rent because you had a shit day. And as much as it feels very unfair and the world is against you,
there's something you just have to do.
Those are the times where you have to dig your heels into the ground and grind your teeth and it's time to go to fucking work. Do you know what I mean?
That's been one of my favorites. I try to every now and again sprinkle in, just especially we try and touch on men's mental health and stuff sometimes as well, the acknowledgement that men just don't sometimes talk about the negative side. But we try and flip it and leave it open for the DMs for the guys. But we also try and do the thing where occasionally I'll be like, tell me something good. Tell me something good. Tell me something you've done. Is it getting up? Is it getting showered? Is it getting a new job? And getting those little bits, like, throughout the years, we've had people that literally started the pandemic with no job that have now got a job in that first year I started streaming, then got fucking married, and now coming back in year 3 of me streaming saying they're getting a promotion. They are their boss's boss now. And you're just like, holy fuck, that's so cool to get those little snippets and piece together, like, as a journey, as a community, all these little things. And people are like rooting for each other. You're seeing people asking someone, oh, how did your internship go today? Or how's your wife doing? Like, that's so fucking cool to me that we have that dynamic.
I feel like that's the whole point of us, like just in general, like in terms of the podcast and this project, like people just talking about their everyday life, like rather than just like, oh, like how, like talking about like just the game. There's nothing wrong with talking about the game, don't get me wrong, but like we are, at the end of the day, as much as like, you know, people, you're a streamer, content creator, you have faceless people, just names. The fact that these names are taking it out to get to know each other as well as engage with content, and then they could become in real life friends. And I'm like,
they are. There was 2 of them in the first year. There was a Go Fest in the first year. Somebody from Sweden met somebody from London when they were in one of the Go Fests together, I believe. And I was like, that's really cool. 2 of the community have met each other at a different IRL event. Like, I'm not even there. They're friends.
You made that happen.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, but no, it is good. It's something we spoke about in one of the more recent podcasts, you know, specifically when we spoke about mental health. And I kind of brought up the point of, you know, like nowadays when it comes to mental health, and it's an unfortunate reality, but 9 times out of 10, if you go to a doctor now about mental health, they just try and like give you tablets. And I don't think that is any kind of relief or help. You know, I think, I think to kind of get out of those places, you have to look after yourself.
You need tools in your chest to be able to manage and regulate your own emotions, and that's what's missing.
You know, like long-term strategy rather than just short-term like fixes.
And and again, it's something we spoke about on one of the most recent podcasts, like specifically about, you know, mental health within men is, you know, instead of taking these tablets, go to the gym, go and work out, go and do something, and you will feel so much better than sitting and taking these tablets. But there's no kind of guidebook behind it to say, you know, actually pushing yourself to kind of not be comfortable, even though you're already not comfortable, will more than likely give you more of a positive than any kind of, you know, prescription will.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of narrative that needs to be pushed more. And I think it's really nice to hear that you, as a content creator with an audience, you know, kind of like takes that on board and helps people understand, like, you're having a shit day, but this is a safe space. There are other people who feel the same way you do, and you can kind of learn from those people, because those same people, they have children and families that they have to provide for. They have rent they have to pay. They've got fucking phone bills they have to pay. They have petrol to put in the car. And because you're having a bad day, the world will not stop. But there's no guidebook around that, you know. So, like, genuinely, I think hearing that from you is honestly fucking amazing, and keep on doing it, because it helps a lot more people than you probably actually realize. Like, especially within the Twitch world, where a lot of people will watch you every day and will probably not even say a single word in chat, they will take everything on board.
They take solace in just like enjoy and pleasure in just watching you.
You know,
it's crazy when you say stuff like that, when blah 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 watches, or someone says something about you. I didn't even know they were there. Like, it's so bizarre as a streamer when you, like, people mention, like, oh, I saw the other day you were talking about this. I was like, I didn't even fucking know you were there. Like, it's like being in the room. I'm by myself sometimes, unless I see your name in chat. Don't have a clue you were there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just assume that I'm just talking to the 1 or 2 people maybe at the time I'm talking to in chat. But like you said, I think it's a fine line between creating the space where people can discuss men's mental health, or just mental health in general, but finding that fine line between talking about not having a good day, but making sure you're not trauma dumping to the point where it becomes a regular that it's okay to just come in, dump everything, and then go, right, okay. Because you do sometimes have that dynamic of attention seeking, or going... Some people offload some really insane stuff, and I'm like, that's cool, but also you have to consider my mental health. Like, what am I meant to do whilst live when you're telling me maybe you would harm yourself?
I'm not a licensed or trained therapist. There are contact lines for you to call if you are in if you are in this situation. There are like trained professionals that work 24 hours that can help you. I'm not one of them, so you have to respect my boundaries, like you said earlier as well.
Which is why I try to find that line between, if you want to get heavy and you want to discuss in depth, come to my DMs. Privately. But it's when people choose then to continue saying things in chat, I'm like, that's for a different reason. Like, you're trying to serve a different purpose with that. So it's trying to weed those people out from the people that actually just need to fucking go, do you know what, I've had a real shit day. Like, it's just different to somebody needing that instant attention. It's very different.
Like, I can say, like, with my chest out, because it means a lot to me, from this project. And like I said, so this particular episode we spoke heavily on it, and I spoke, very much aimed at men with mental health issues. Is going out and going to the gym, going for a run will help you 10 times more than sitting at home taking these tablets that are prescribed to you by people that, as horrible as it sounds, do not give a shit about you. And I'm not going to name drop because that's not fair, but we had someone who is close to us and to the podcast and the channel who messaged me after the stream and said, do you know what? You're right. I've signed up for the gym. I'm going to start going. And that was maybe a week or two ago. And, I chat with them, and they've told me I feel so much better from doing this. And it makes me feel so good that we're able to put out this kind of narrative and help people who actually need the help but aren't given it. So, I think, just, to bring it back to you being the guest, keep on doing that thing and pushing it, because people do notice it and it makes a massive difference on their life. And I think it's super important to do so. And it comes back to what I said before. Just be nice to each other.
It's free, isn't it? It's just fucking free. Yeah. You're here to just exist and enjoy your time.
But sometimes from that, you have to tell people the things they don't want to hear.
Yes, tough love.
So like I said, this particular person told me that they were taking these meds and blah blah blah, and I just said, I said it outright as someone who has been depressed. I never took medication. I just didn't believe in it. Is sometimes you have to acknowledge the bad things in life. You have to get to the lowest of the low to actually find that way back out of it. And I think it's so important because like I said, there is no guidebook. There is no, you can't just go online and search, how to not be depressed. It's not a fucking thing. Otherwise we wouldn't have that problem.
I've Googled it. I've tried. Like, when you're like in a spot, like in dead as, it's just like you Google it. I'm like, I don't know, maybe something will come up with like some sort of quick fix. But like, I know deep down in my head, it's like, it's obviously, listen, I'm just trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and I'm missing the ball in this case. Yeah. But like, sometimes you just, when you're in a spot, like, I was going to say, like, just having discussions with people in general, a more like open conversation, it's so healthy in a day and age where like a TikTok generation where most people are scrolling, engaging like sort of with stuff online, but they're sort of like isolating themselves to the outside world, or they're not using the internet maybe in a way it was supposed to be designed, in which it's a world wide web, like you're supposed to connect with. Literally, there's unlimited, infinite possibilities out there. You're sort of putting yourself siloed in a box doing one thing. Like, you could do so much. Like, you could meet so many people, and you choose to do one little thing. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, for sure. But then I think a lot of it, Thomas, comes back to kind of one of the reasons why we started this project, because it was a case of you and me just wanted to talk more as friends.
Yeah.
And I think now, as we're on, what are we on, episode 27 now?
27.
I think now as we're getting into it, we're kind of delving more into helping people who listen to the podcast, who have their own shit going on in their own lives and maybe don't know how to deal with it. Because like I said, there isn't a set of rules that you follow.
You're just expected to like...
We know the rules.
Yeah.
No, we don't. No, we don't. And Bevo even said himself, no one knows the rules. Yeah. So
I feel like after doing 27 episodes, I'm sure you'll probably notice the trend as well. And I think a lot of people as streamers and a lot of people as a community have probably noticed that like you inadvertently find you've got all these things in common and certain traits with different people, and there's a certain type of person that grinds out games like Pokemon Go. Do you know what I mean? Like we're all on the same page, like we're all that kind of person.
Yeah.
But you find solace in realizing that it's okay to be slightly different, to be slightly quirky, or
100%.
like it's not about being a nerd or being a dork, or like you said, Thomas, you like different kinds of music, but me, like we can bond MrAvalanche over like our metal or whatever.
Why did you do that, Mr. The famous MrAvalanche. That's what I'm doing every time.
But we can bond over stuff, and it's getting to the point where you're starting to notice trends in your 27 podcast when you're realizing that like there's certain traits that are the same common that people just don't talk about, or like it's important because it's not just us, it's gonna be people that we mirror, and you're representing the community as a whole. Like it's cool to be able to have the conversations that maybe people relate to but never talk about because it's taboo or it's dumb or man up or whatever. And I can't ever advocate for not taking medication because sometimes it's needed. I have a background in mental health. I was trained in CBT, DBT, and worked in a secure unit for a long time and know just how important it is sometimes to medicate. But it is a hand-in-hand process. You need the tools in your chest to be able to manage and regulate your own emotions. You need the support network, whether that be friends or family, whether that be you know, you need something. You need some kind of structure, and that comes in with your going to the gym. The gym isn't just about the endorphins from working out, it's about the structure, getting yourself up and out of fucking bed to then do something that then will benefit you and make you feel good mentally and physically. All of those things together are what makes the difference, plus you then becoming that, sorry, my TV just turned off, become that support network. That's the piece in that puzzle that you represent, and that's why your podcast is so important, because you meme on it and you meme on the mods, but you yourself have got such an intricate community of people that are just so ride and die. You're homies, aren't you? The way you interact, the way you vibe and bounce off each other is wholesome as fuck.
That's it.
Like when I showed up, I felt included, and that's the first time probably in the GBL community I felt so like I related to people. I was like, you guys are from the UK? How the fuck did I not know you guys before? You play Pokemon? Cool. You like this music? Cool. We have banter, we joke. It was almost like we've known each other for years.
These are my favourite episodes. I'm like, this episode is now, I mean, not over. It's still going. We could be going all night, it feels. And that's the beauty of it. But the point is, it's like, even like you said, it feels like, it doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel, and like we had this, like a similar episode with like Pocket Monster Max, who like Josh had never heard of. Until we had him on the episode, and then it's just like, wow. I feel like I want to say it's a UK thing. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, me personally, the way I was raised, I wasn't raised with like, you know, like a silver spoon, or like I'm not obnoxious or anything like that. I like to be, you know, just open and get to know people. Like when I first went to uni, I stayed in halls, and there was these group of girls, and they said, "Oh, like have you seen this guy?" I was like, "Mo," and I'm like, "He's really annoying. He's really do this." And I went and spoke to him. Like, oh, he's chill, man. I was like, he's from London. I'm like, he's from ends. He's all right. Like I don't judge people. I'm like, who am I to judge someone if I
feel
am
like
not
when you've not grown up in that position of privilege, when you understand what it feels like to feel depressed. Like just one example with Robin Williams. I never really related to like celebrity deaths, but things like that with Robin Williams, when you look at somebody that has spent their whole life being a comedian, being an actor, wanting to make people happy,
making other people happy,
and suffering so much quietly, and you just have no idea from what they present. It hit me hard. I was like, holy fuck, like you never would have known that somebody so expressive and so like wholesome could have such a dark side. And I think to me that really hit home that actually people don't talk about it, and it really is sometimes the people that have experienced those things that relate to other people and can really grasp and really like try and put that out. Like I'm rambling now. Go on, take it away.
No, keep going. This is
no, you're right.
No,
you're right. No, she's right. I think so. You know, I think it's time we start wrapping up anyway. But I think, you know, the main thing to take away from this, you know, to anyone listening, you know, shout out to everyone watching live on twitch.tv/ThomasYoung997. Anyone listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or watching back on YouTube, you know, at the end of the day, you are not alone. There are always people there who feel the same way as you, because it's so easy to feel like, shit, I'm the only person that feels this way. And that isn't the case. You know, I think it's important, you know, you sometimes have to upset people and put yourself first. I think it's very important that you have to learn.
It's not even selfish. I hate when people call it selfish. It's really not.
No, it's because as someone who has been there, and when I had to do it for myself, because when I was in that space, if I didn't do it for myself and I wasn't selfish, I don't know where I would have been, or if I still would have.
I guess
been here.
It's not selfish because you don't owe something. What do you owe to someone else? Because it's self-awareness. You're aware that you need to put yourself first. It's not selfish. Selfish is like indulging in something and not bringing anyone in. It's not selfish. It's self-awareness. You're putting yourself before others.
It's true.
Which is important.
It's true, but there are a lot of people in the world whose happiness comes from making other people happy, and there are a lot of people that are like that.
True.
And as much as that is such an important trait to have, sometimes it can also be like a double-edged sword, and it can come back on yourself because
people pleasing can be exhausting. Because when you finally have to prioritize yourself, you then feel the guilt that surrounds that.
To keep someone else's fire lit. At the expense of your own, that's not.
It's
you can't pour from an empty vessel.
It sounds really horrible to say, but ensuring someone else is happy can sometimes make you miserable, and sometimes that is a really hard realization to get. But sometimes you have to do it. So like I said, at the end of the day, especially if you're in the Pogo community and you listen to this. We have a really close-knit community, and you are not alone. And as Kitty said, go into one of our streams, watch, hang out, and she's there if you want to talk to. Same with me and Thomas. Anyone listening to this podcast, if you have any of these kind of thoughts, reach out to us. We're here for you. We're going to support you. But on the other side, you have to make sure you're doing things for yourself that make you happy, that invoke your happiness.
It's important.
Because the unfortunate reality is you are never, ever, ever going to be able to make everyone in your life happy. And it's such a horrible feeling, but it's the truth, right? Like you are never going to be able to be happy and make sure everyone in your life.
Not everyone is going to like you, and you're not going to make everyone happy. And the sooner you realize that, literally the better. You'll make the people that matter to you happy rather than people that don't matter to you and don't really care for you happy. They're people you don't necessarily need in your life. It's irrelevant even trying, and it sounds bad, but it's true.
And it's something that I've mentioned multiple times over the last few episodes. The world now is a really dark place. It's full of hatred and sadness.
Be nice.
And at some point you have to be the change you want to see. So if you listen to this now, reach out to a friend. Just message your best friend. Hey, how's it going? How is everything? Message your parents if they're still around. And tell them you miss them and you love them, because you have to do it. It starts a chain reaction. And,
I agree. I agree. The amount of times I've gone and thought, oh fuck, do you know what? I haven't spoken to that person for ages. Oh my god, that's amazing. Maybe I need to pull out my finger and message other people more. What you can get from receiving that message one day is wild, isn't it?
No, definitely. But like I said, and I will keep on saying it. Just be fucking nice to each other. It takes more effort to be a cunt than it does to be a good person.
Even that. Not even necessarily just be nice. If you don't have something nice to say, just don't fucking say anything. You don't have to voice every single opinion. If you don't like a certain lifestyle choice, if you don't like a certain appearance, just don't say anything. You don't have to say something.
Your freedom of speech is there. It is your right, but don't expect that to mean freedom from consequence. People will call you out on your shits.
On your bullshit,
that's the best thing I've said all podcast. Yeah. Come on.
No, mate.
Mic drop. Boom. 100%. That should be the end right there. That should be the sentiment. Free to say what you want, but doesn't mean you're free from being judged for it.
But 100%. So guys, let's wrap this up, because honestly, I could talk for hours about this stuff because I think it's important. But Kitty, thank you so much for coming on. You've been a great guest. Honestly, I think this has become one of my favorite episodes. It's so nice to talk about. It's so nice to talk with someone who understands so much about the people around them, and to be in the position they're in and wanting to build something better for everyone and themselves. I think it's fucking amazing. So, if you got anything going on that you want to plug right now, go ahead. the stage is yours.
Just do something tomorrow, whatever it is. After you watch this tomorrow, do something for yourself. Do something, whatever it is. If you were thinking, do you know what, I'm going to apply for that job, or I'm going to go to the gym, I'm just like, just go do that one thing, and that will probably send us all three away happy tomorrow, knowing that maybe you go do that one thing.
I absolutely agree. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Shout out to all of our live listeners, twitch.tv/ThomasYoung997. Shout out to all the Apple podcast listeners, to all the Spotify podcast listeners, to all the YouTube watchers back. We all hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week. And remember, have a great day on purpose. Okay? Go out your way. Have a fucking great day. Thomas, as always, man, great to sit and chat to you. When are we next back?
We're next back Friday, 29th. A weird time because, Thomas has work.
We're switching out.
Moved a few things around, done a few people some favours that wouldn't necessarily do me some, but we don't need to get into that. 3 p.m. UK time. We might have a guest, we might not. We probably won't, to be honest.
Who knows?
We're trying to save these very special guests for like these sorts of episodes where we can really, touch upon some real shit, basically, because like we've said, like countless times throughout this episode and other episodes over the last couple episodes, like it's important to be nice, but maybe to talk about the things you wouldn't normally talk about in your day-to-day. It's not saying you need to like overshare and talk about all these things all the time, but I think like the biggest takeaway from this episode is be nice. Maybe just seize the day, even if it's like, you know what, I really don't want to get out of bed, but all I've done
victory.
Yeah, all I've done today is I literally went to uni with people that their biggest achievement a day was getting up and getting dressed and like brushing their teeth and like maybe doing stuff around the house. It's like that's a W for you if it's a W for you, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Like the biggest thing I hated was when my mum asked me, "What did I do today?" Like, "Oh, how was your day?" I don't really know what to tell her. Now I can tell her like stuff. I'm like, "Oh, I did this. I had work. I've got this stream at this time. Like, I've got stuff to tell her," and I think that should be the biggest thing. Like, do something in your day. Like Kitty said, do that one thing in the day that will make you happy or make you feel like you've accomplished something in that day. Make the most of your 24 hours. Basically.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Right, guys, so we're going to round this one up. Episode 27. I Boozy. Shout out to all the live listeners.